man. Ask me what I got.
What you got?
Ask me what I got.
What have you got?
Nothing.
What did the doctor say? What do you have, Jeff? What is it?
I'm just doing this podcast to let everybody know that if you've listened to me in the last 6 months, you might want to go get checked. That's all I'm saying. You might have a bad case of what they call rage ear.
Oh, gross.
It's like cauliflower ear, but there's a little bit more of a
burning sensation.
Burning sensation, yeah. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the world famous non-infectious Rage Select podcast here on Rage Select. I am Jeff.
I'm Amanda.
Amanda, welcome back. It's been quite a while since
like
you were on.
Months.
Yes. Yeah. At least
a lot's happened.
Yes.
I got married.
Indeed.
I've had several children.
Okay.
No, it's just a dog.
Are you a millionaire? Can I have like a little bit of money?
I was a millionaire.
Oh.
I am no longer a millionaire.
You had it all, lost it all. Okay, I gotcha. All right.
I bet it all on red. It was a poor choice.
Hey, you 50-50. Yeah, no, I got nothing. I realized about 40 minutes before we started this podcast, I was going to watch the rest of Fooly Cooly Season 2 to talk about that, but then I ended up just playing Divinity Original Sin 2, which is really good, but that game's like 6 months old and whatever. I think the highlights of my last week have included making pasta with my pasta maker for the first time.
Nice.
Which turned out really poorly because I just ended up with like really clumped together egg noodles that were too thin and didn't separate.
It's a work in progress.
Yes. And worrying about the small nest of birds that is living in my backyard.
Yeah, your baby birds. How are they?
They whenever I look in.
What are their names?
I see. Here's the thing. I hadn't seen Mom Bird in a while, all right? And, I don't know if Mom Bird's just out, fucking Instagram, hashtag.
She's got her hashtag
Thug
mom life. Yeah. She's living life.
Yeah, but so I look in there, and whenever they see me looking in there, they do that thing like baby birds where they just, they just open up their mouths really wide and shake back and forth. And so the thing is.
That's actually just what all Rage Select fans do.
It's Sunday. You just So the problem is that I don't know really what to do about this. I don't know whether I should stop smoking on my back porch because
Do you think the mom was like, "Ugh, he smokes," and then flew away?
I don't know. The mom bird made this nest in a little hanging plant that we haven't been watering because we're afraid of you
don't want to water the birds.
Water the birds, but then I'm like, maybe the cover from the plants was the reason that the mom bird really liked this location. So the whole thing, I spent an hour last night looking up bird rescue things.
Yeah.
And the entire internet's just fucking leave them alone, man. They may die, but you're almost certainly going to make things worse unless you're a trained ornithologist.
You can't call animal services or anything?
Maybe, but the thing is that they're all still a lot. I don't know what. It's so hard with teeny tiny little fucking fragile baby birds. Are they in danger? Or am I meddling, right? Am I calling animal control and it turns out the mom has just been feeding them
what
and
if
they're
you call
fine?
animal control, just ask him and be like, hey, I haven't seen the mom, but I know the birds are still alive.
Yeah.
Can I have you guys pick it up? Would it be better to not? And then they're like, just it dies or it doesn't die.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm somewhat worried, mostly though for the emotional stress that this is putting on other people in my household.
Yeah.
I'm nature is fucking evil and cruel, man. Baby birds die all the time, but
right. But you could be responsible for saving the lives of baby birds.
You know what?
No, thank you.
Well, not no, thank you, but more just kind of I'll pass. Maybe if is it easy? Do I just have to pick it?
You monster!
I know.
Get out of here!
I know. I'm a terrible, horrible. I'm a horrible monster. So yeah, pasta and baby birds. That's been my entire last week.
Did you cook the mama bird in some pasta, Jeff?
Unless the mama bird was magically turned into the ground hamburger that was in my freezer.
Maybe.
Which I'm not taking the rap for that.
I cannot be held responsible.
Look, I have tried necromancy. It is a lot harder. It is a lot harder than that. Well, what have you been up to, Amanda? You're basking in the glory of married life now.
I'm basking in the glory.
You've got 17-year-old Jeff's haircut.
I do. Do I? This is the second time I've done this hair, and everyone seems more shocked by it now. It's a what I call
skater cut.
Kind of. It's just a lazy hawk. It's just the shaved sides and the long at the top, but I don't like spike it up. I'm not. It's not
Brian Brushwood.
90s Hot Topic time.
Sure.
Which is the same as Brian Brushwood.
Oh man, if only it was 90s Hot Topic time again.
You know what's funny? The most the highest selling product that Hot Topic has is wrestling T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
So I am more of a Hot Topic person now than I was when I was a 13-year-old goth kid.
Right. No, like 60-inch vinyl.
Hot Topic has been following my trend. I haven't been following Hot Topic.
I had to think that Hot Topic listens to this podcast. Oh shit! She's
in the wrestling now.
She found out.
No, but I have a mohawk, but I've had it before. I shaved it all and then I grew it all so I could get married to John and have like full head of hair. So like, you know, I wasn't some alternative weird chick. More for like family photos and shit like that.
Right.
And so I was like, the second I get married, I'm going back to it. And the second I got married, I went back to it. And people were like, oh, you're so, ooh, it's so different. And I'm like, you know, like people that didn't know me before then, or like people that hadn't seen it in a long time. I don't mind like a shocked reaction, but some people like y'all have known me for years. I do weird shit with my I don't know why it's coming off as a weird thing now. It's just so weird.
I think it's I think this is one of those times where sometimes it's really advantageous to be a middle-aged dumpy white guy, because nobody fucking my hair I hadn't cut my hair in like 6 months, and I think like one person out of everybody that I know come in, they were like, well, my hair's getting a little long, and I was like, yeah, I've been busy recently. Like
I suffer from I look like somebody's mom syndrome.
Okay.
And so
what?
Yeah, I get it all the time. Where I kind of look like
I ain't seeing that with the green hair and the nose ring.
Well, this is all part of it.
Oh, okay.
So, if I were like pure me before all the stuff, all the green hair, the tattoos, and the nose ring,
right,
the stretch ears, I look like I look like a soccer mom. My hair naturally grows in soccer mom shape.
Wow.
I swear on my life.
Okay.
It's the worst. And so people are always very like, oh my God, hold my baby kind of thing. They're very like that with me. And so like I stretch my ears and people I get it. You'd be so surprised.
No, I'm just like, I'm anticipating where the story is going. And it's like, I don't want to hold your fucking baby. So I chopped off all my hair and I got my, like, I'm getting like a tattoo of just vagina, just like all down the middle of my face.
Really, so,
right.
like I stretch my ears, I pierce my nose,
right,
nothing.
Yeah.
Like people are just like, oh, she's experimental. She's a modern day girl. Hold my baby. And I'm just like, no. And I do tattoos and I like dye my hair different colors and I start shaving the side of my head and stuff like that. It's taken a lot to get people to not think of me as the like innocent, like sweet girl.
What if we get you a T-shirt that just says "I drop babies" on it?
I would love that, but it's just like me. It's just like a picture,
just like a
cartoon image of me like punting a baby through a goalpost.
No, just like a baby doll, but it's like cracked in half. There's like a yolk like right below, and it just says "I drop babies." And then on the back it just says "Nah, for real, yo."
For real, sees. My favorite. So like I feel like I'm like the full transformation is complete.
Okay.
John and I, before coming over to record, we went to go eat dinner, and I had to go to the restroom. And I went to the restroom, and it was a one-stall like restroom.
Okay.
And so some kid started doing the bullshit, like trying to get in.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They want to go to the restroom, and they don't understand that a door's locked because somebody's in there.
Sure.
And so they just to the door.
Right.
And then I opened it, and I was pissed because that shit annoys me.
Right.
And apparently I look mildly intimidating to a child. And so they looked super scared. And the mom
peed his pants and ran away.
Right, kind of. And so the mom was just like, let the nice lady through so you could go in, kind of like real, like, let me guide my frightened child through the restroom.
I think you might need to go all the way to like big guar spikes, right? Like just a full like chest plate, and
I've thought about it. I'm a lot more intimidating when I'm wearing my Doc Martens.
Okay, fair
but
enough.
I wanted to do black hair. I've been thinking about dyeing my hair black, and now I'm worried that I'm gonna look like Skrillex and that people are gonna like me again. So.
Nobody likes Skrillex, though. They'll be like, oh, shit, it's Skrillex. Get him. Oh, wait. Oh, it's just a lady. Don't give him any babies.
Like an oddly butch lesbian-looking lady.
Everybody knows that Skrillex drops it all the time.
I'm going to drop that fucking bass if you guys come near me, so help me.
I'm going to drop that baby like these fat beats. Oh, don't give Skrillex a baby.
No.
Don't give Skrillex a baby.
Give me a shirt that says I drop the bass like I drop babies, or I drop babies like I drop
Skrillex?
The bass.
No.
I drop Skrillex like I drop babies.
I drop babies like Skrillex drops
the bass.
The bass? It's too many words on one shirt.
That's a very long, just a full dress. It just goes all the way down.
Oh man. Well, I wish you luck in your endeavor to scare the normies.
Thank you.
I personally, nothing that I do, like I would have to. To me, it's more. I'm easily ignored, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It would be more work. Nobody ever asks me to do anything because I just stay in my house and like it's glare at people.
Nice. It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
You know, on Daria, how everyone kept trying to get Daria involved in shit?
Yes.
And they were just like, but you're so smart. You should why don't you try out for this club or whatever?
Right.
That was me.
Yeah.
Where I'd just be like, no, but I hate you all. And so it took...
Stop trying to make me enrich your life.
Yeah. It took like almost 31 years for me to finally hit the full, like... Now they are not asking me anymore, and I can fucking live my life.
Fair enough. Well, yeah. Transition not found. Let's talk about video games.
Yay!
I've started even like putting my stories together in a way to segue properly, and yet I have no segue from the beginning to the end, and I have no sign off for the very end of the show.
Nice.
So, speaking of scary people, let's talk about Fortnite.
Are like the players or the characters in Fortnite scary people?
I don't know.
General idea of Fortnite scares people.
Yeah. Last week, Fortnite Season 5 started. And Fortnite is a real
kick in the dick.
It's a real motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fortnite looks so fun in the trailers and in the stuff, and then you go play the game and it's like if Counter-Strike looked like Overwatch, and you're like, oh shit, that looks so fun, and then you start playing it, you're like, oh, this sucks and I hate it, because it's just bang, you're dead, bang, you're dead, bang, you're dead, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I fucking hate that. Whereas, John and I just got done. By the time that this podcast goes up, the video will be up. I bought Overwatch on the PC so that we could just play Hammond because there's nothing else out this week. Hammond is so fun.
Yeah.
You're just rolling around, fucking slamming into people and doing shit. It was super fun.
Comes in like a wrecking ball.
Exactly. Anyway, the Fortnite Season 5 trailer came out, and we got a bunch of different things for it. So the whole theme is worlds collide because there's
this is what it's like when worlds collide. Do you remember that song?
Yeah, was that
Power Man 5000?
I thought it was Power Man
Rob
5000.
Zombie's little brother.
Was that Rob Zombie's little brother?
Yeah,
was Power Man 5000 with like the tall blonde hair?
I think he looked like the Snap into the Slim Jim guy. He had that a little bit like a
Randy Savage.
No, I mean the actual Slim Jim character.
Oh, the guy that has like the big Slim Jim head? Yeah. Okay. Yes, I think here. But hold on.
So the Rob Zombie was like all goth movies and like horror, and then his brother was all sci-fi. So it was all very
he's got spiky. He's got spiky hair.
Yeah, he's just got 90 spikes.
90 spiky hair. It looks like a
P.S. I still love Power Man 5000.
It's like a Kmart brand Billy Idol.
And he still comes out with albums.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if it's the same band, but I know it's still Rob Zombie.
Who is this guy? Wayne Static. Okay. I don't know anything about this. I'm going to shut my mouth before somebody's like, well, actually.
Yeah, he does look like Wayne Static. Looks like it's happened to a Slim Jim guy.
Anyway, Fortnite season 5 is out. Bunch of new
Slim Jims.
Slim Jims. New stuff in Fortnite season 5, including Slim Jims. No.
Man, I wish it's like Slim Jims and Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Fortnite is the Slim Jims and Mountain Dew of video games.
Man, it really is. So the first thing that happened is the map has been radically changed. The bottom right-hand corner, which I think used to be swamps, is now a big desert. In that desert...
The California desert?
Yes. Yep.
Like in the trailer?
Mm-hmm. There is a racing track. We'll come back to that. There is a place called Paradise Palms, which is like a weird luxury...
Supposed to be like Palm Springs.
Yeah. There's this kind of like resort area. There's a bunch of kind of like California.
Truckin' Oasis.
Yeah, Oasis, the big dinosaurs. There's a junkyard. There's a bunch of cool stuff. They basically just changed the entire half of the map. There's also a big Viking ship.
What the fucking California is that?
No, this is on top of a mountain in a different part of the map. So it's like different parts of the world have gotten pasted into the map, right?
Yeah, from different times of the world too, because I don't know why there'd be a Viking ship.
Yeah. There's also in the middle. There's like there's a Lazy Links, which is in the north, I believe, and is actually like a fucking golf place, which has the new golf cart, which
That's
4
hilarious.
people can get into.
That's so funny. It's just a bunch of golf carts smashing into each other in the trailer.
Yeah. Apparently, you can drift in them, and your whole 4-person team can fit in them.
We can Tokyo Drift.
Yep.
Fuck. Finally.
There's also you can actually apparently hit the golf course. You can kind of play the golf course a little bit. There's also some basketball places where you can literally play basketball. And I'm like, all of this sounds great, except that
it's still Fortnite, and you're going to get your ganked in the middle of it.
Exactly, yeah. You're going to be trying to play basketball with your friend, and then it's going to be like, blam, sniper rifle, blam, sniper rifle. Oh, look, the fucking wave is coming in. The Meteor Strike Zone, Dusty Divot from the last expansion has grown over. There are no more meteor sections there. And then there was a place where there was a football field or like a soccer pitch. And it has just a big like Easter Island head in it now. So all this, there's also a thing called rifts that are in the game now, where basically if you see a rift, you can go into it and it will respawn you up in the air. So you can literally like get away from people. With every season, there's a bunch of new like costumes and things.
Are the skins supposed to be like different like times and different places kind of thing? Because I was wondering why they all look kind of Viking-y.
Yeah, I could see that. Like old,
and like that looked like a almost like Japanese kind of.
Yeah. So all of this just is. I mean, man, this looks great.
Yeah, if I played
paper.
Fortnite, I would be down for that shit.
Right.
But I do not.
I
know a lot of people that play Fortnite though.
I keep wanting to like go back and play it, and then whenever I play it within 5 minutes, I'm just like, oh no. I mean, I just rather play Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like
and even then.
Well, and so I getting my loot box this week. I've so many more complaints every time I play Overwatch. I love it, and I also complain about it constantly.
Yeah.
I played on Random Heroes map. I fucking played as D.Va. I spawned as D.Va, and I walked the payload on Interstate 76 from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
And every time I blew up, I'd pull out, get a new mech, go in there, fucking nerf this, take out the enemy team. I literally walked the payload from the beginning of the map
but then
to
when
the
you
end
do
of the
that,
map.
do you not by the end just feel like you're accomplished? Even if you lose, you do get a kind of sense of like, I fucking did it all.
No. My complaint about that, I have my own sense of accomplishment. My complaint about that was not a single person would give me an upvote at the end of that map when it was like 5 minutes, 40 seconds.
You shouldn't be doing
objective
it for
time.
other people's approval.
I do it for other people's approval. I am doing it for other people's approval. God damn it. Anyway, so yeah, Fortnite Season 5 is out. It looks pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to fucking dedicate some time to Fortnite at this point.
You can play it on the Switch. You know, it's free to play.
Yeah,
like, you don't have to buy
I know,
any
that's
of this
why
shit.
I'm like, I don't know why I haven't put extra time in it.
I've put a bunch of hours into it. I just don't really.
I have a lot of friends that are like, they play it on their fucking phones.
On their phone, yeah.
What is that garbage?
I don't even
Who
know.
has a phone big enough where you feel confident? I can't. I barely feel like I have enough space for Pokemon.
I don't even know. Well, Everybody's got their hot. I've got a Samsung Galaxy S7, and all I know is that when I run more than 4 apps for about 20 minutes on this thing, it gets like it's a lava brick in my hand.
Sean and I both updated, and we got I forgot what it's called. It's a Samsung too, though. It's a J7 Perks, I think.
Okay.
But it's it gets hot. It freezes up if you do more. If I run Pokemon, I can't listen to a podcast.
Oh, don't get here.
Why would I want to walk around with Pokemon if I can't listen to anything?
Here's the thing: is it was okay, and then I got the Oculus, the one that you can slide your phone into because it works with this model. And I put it in there, and I looked up Netflix, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And I'm watching Netflix, and then it was literally like, your phone's overheating, no more Netflix.
Yeah.
And I was like, why?
Yeah.
What the fuck do I want out of a phone that constantly overheats? Anyway.
Wow.
A lot of
sorry.
side content, yelling and screaming and carrying on. That's okay. I get the feeling that this podcast this week might be short just because there isn't a lot. That's why we're leading with fucking Fortnite Season 5.
Yeah.
We
hook you in with Fortnite, and and then you stay because you don't have anything better to do.
And then you're walking your dog and forgot you were listening to a podcast.
Maybe they're walking their cat.
Anyway, Fortnite on the Switch has also added motion-controlled aiming. If you're into that sort of dumb thing,
100%, you're not.
Yeah, you like Splatoon 2.
In this kind of game, I don't think you want that kind of janky ass aiming system.
I don't know. I feel
like it wouldn't be precise enough.
I feel like...
Is this like the far, far opposite of when people are like, you play on the PC because you get more accurate shooting, and then you get into consoles and it's a little less accurate, and then you get into fucking motion. Come on!
So the thing is that Splatoon 2 had this, and I feel like if it was a skill that you devoted time to, that it could actually be really great because it meant that you aim with the right stick, right? Mm-hmm. The right stick does everything it normally does, but then let's say that if you develop the reflexes to where you need to make a very minute adjustment that the stick couldn't make, and you just tilted your controller just a little bit to get in that last little aiming section. But it would definitely be a skill, a muscle memory skill.
But yeah, also the learning curve is fucked because everybody's already set. Everyone that's playing it is already doing that, and they're already playing the way they play. And you're just getting this motion control.
Yeah.
Aim.
Well, it helps that you're only, I think, on the Switch. Oh, no, it does have crossplay, doesn't it?
You fucked.
Yeah, you're
fucked.
You're
I mean,
fucked.
You can, but you would just have to dedicate a lot of time to dying a bunch.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty.
But you know what? Fortnite is also, I feel like, a game. Fortnite is a.
What is Fortnite, Jeff?
What do they call it? Single issue voters, right?
Uh-huh.
You've like single game players, right? People who are just like, I come home, I play 6 hours of Fortnite, and then I go to bed.
Yeah.
I come home and I play 6 hours of Fortnite, and I go to bed. I come home and I play, or 4 hours of Fortnite, 2 hours of Fortnite, 40 minutes. But that's all.
I don't know what kind of jobs you guys have.
Yeah.
I don't know your bedtime. Fuck.
But that's what I get the impression. It's like Call of Duty or Overwatch or any of those things. Like people that are really good at it, they just come home and that's all they play.
Yeah.
And I'm not a game monogamist. I'm a fucking game skank, man. I want to be out there.
Game skank. That's a different Rage Select show. We don't talk about that.
Welcome to GameSkank.com.
Patrons, welcome to Game Skank.
Hey, we're going to play 5 minutes of every game that came out on Steam this week.
Oh, my God. Dude. That would be amazing.
This is a 4-hour-long video because like 80 games come out every day on fucking Steam.
For real, man. I would do like 10 games, first 5 minutes of each of those games, and it's like hard 5 minutes. So if it's a cutscene and it's 5 minutes, you're like, sorry guys, 5 minutes up.
We would never get to play any actual game. No, that's not true. A bunch of those indie games don't have
they're kind of like
bullshit.
Just plug and play, just run into it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just about all for Fortnite, but we're not done with Epic. So Epic owns Fortnite, right?
Uh-huh.
They also have the Unreal Engine, and they have a thing on called the Unreal Engine Marketplace. Unity does the same thing.
I'm with you.
You want to make an Unreal game, and you don't want to make a house. So you go to the store and you buy a house that somebody else made. You put it in your game. You give them some cash, and then you have it in your game, right?
Yeah, you buy like assets.
Yeah. So up until very recently, the way that marketplace worked was that Epic took 30% and you got 70%. So you gave somebody $10, that person got $7, Unreal or Epic got $3.
Yeah.
Just recently, they have lowered that so that it's 88% to the player or to the creator and 12% to Epic. So instead of getting 70, you get 88%.
They're them just deciding.
What this is the most feel good story that you're going to hear this entire week on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
They basically said Fortnite is doing so well that we're going to let you guys keep more of your money.
Wow.
Because we're making so much money on this that it feels greedy we're just going to make it a bare minimum to keep the servers going and keep a few people paid to do stuff. But that we're making fucking buckets over here and we like to pass the savings on to y'all so you can make more video games.
They're like trickle down economics, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you know what? It's one of the more altruistic moves I've seen from a big video game company.
It's sad that that's not the norm.
What's that?
When companies like Epic become more successful, that they don't start swindling people more. Instead, they go, we pass the savings on to you.
Right.
Yeah.
They back the fuck off instead of trying to quintuple down on I'm really worried about what Black Ops 4 is going to be like.
Yeah.
Because that's a $60 multiplayer only game where you have to buy the $100 one to get the season pass. And then I bet there's going to be fucking microtransactions of some sort in that game, whether they're cosmetic or unlocks or whatever. Just Jesus Lord, how much?
I'm really glad that I don't have to pay with my quote unquote pay with, or vote with my
dollar,
my dollar, because we don't buy that game. Because I would not buy that game. It's not worth the risk. I would wait until if it came out and everyone's like, dude, you got to get this game, then I would get it. But it's not worth the risk to me.
I 100% agree. I think that, in fact, I often, I don't think that people shouldn't buy games, but one of the reasons that I'm so against pre-ordering is that in today's day and age, games are not scarce.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be. It used to be that fucking Grand Theft Auto Vice City came out, Target sold out today, and what the fuck, you got to call all around town. Hey, can you hold a copy for me? I'll be there in 10 minutes, blah, blah. I've done that. I've run all over town looking for games.
all the time.
No mas. They get shitloads of games. There's so many companies.
Nah, bitch, we're Amazon Prime members. You just load that shit in Amazon, you get it same day.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could do that. You can buy it digitally. There's so many ways that you can get games that I feel like there's no reason to pre-buy something at a store. And the only argument that I've ever heard that rang really true, because I consider most of the pre-order shit to be just garbage. It's pre-order now and you got 3 skins, and it's fuck off.
Yeah, superficial. It's not anything useful.
Because they can't make it pre-order now and you get the second half of the game, right?
But you could do what Mass Effect did and be pre-order now and you get the most important character in your game.
But see, that wasn't even that. That was day one. That was back when they were doing day one DLC. So they were trying to cut off of the used market. So it's just if you buy it brand new, then you get a code for that DLC. But there's no downside to waiting a day until after the game that you really want comes out to be maybe it was all garbage, maybe it was total trash, or maybe it's the best thing ever. Read, watch. There's never been a better time to not fucking give somebody your money sight unseen for a product. Anyway, Epic is cool.
Yes,
that's what I was trying to say.
Epic,
good
support Epic.
Yes, good on you. All right, from there, loot boxes are back in the news. Speaking of loot boxes.
Speaking of fucking people over.
Speaking of way too much money and not doing good things with it. So basically, the whole thing here is that Belgium and the Netherlands have basically made it illegal to have loot boxes. So CSGO has basically updated to take loot boxes out of that particular game. Apparently, they re-enabled Steam trading, so you can still trade items. Which I think that, if I remember correctly, I don't know this for sure, but you can also Steam trading means you can sell and buy stuff, and you can also trade stuff. But then Valve gets a little chunk of whatever goes back and forth. So it's I feel like part of the money that they were getting off of loot box transactions will be made up, or the losing off of not having loot box transactions will be made up for off of having the in-game trading back. Boy, Counter-Strike Go is just a dumpster fire. Like over the last few years, between like the skin lotto stuff, where it was like people who owned skin lotto companies were then basically they owned a company, and then there were also YouTubers that were like, "Oh my god, you guys! I fucking found this new thing, and it's so awesome! Like, hey, followers, check out this website. You could get free skins for your fucking Counter-Strike, and it's all gun cosmetics, which I'm just like, I don't understand.
I think people care. Well, I mean, I feel like that market is like high schoolers or like junior high kids that are just like want weird cosmetic shit,
right,
and play the oddly violent games.
Or do you think it's that thing? I don't know about you, but like I got burned out on the whole like opening a random package to get a thing.
Yeah.
When I was in my teenage years with you remember those Marvel trading cards?
Yes.
I had a bunch of those, and after about 3 years of those, I was like, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah. Why am I spending so much money on this?
I've got these big books full of these cards, full sets of.
I mean, but also Magic makes shit ton of money on essentially blind boxes. Blind boxes make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those are like real life loot boxes. You could buy real life loot boxes at cons.
I actually watched a YouTube video of a guy that bought. Apparently, Amazon will sell you like a crate of random returned items for a certain amount of money through like their bulk distribution section.
That's weird.
It was a YouTuber that basically just bought like 7 of these crates of returned items, and then you just open them up and go through them and be like, "Oh, this is an Xbox headset. It's a little damaged on the corner. It's fine. I'll sell it in the store for $20."
You like going through the dark rabbit hole of weird YouTube shit sometimes. There are eBay mystery boxes.
Okay.
That people like, it just became a thing on YouTube for YouTubers to just buy mystery boxes, and they'd just be like 90s mystery box, and they'd open it up and be like nothing but slap bracelets and shit. Yeah.
That sounds fucking awful.
Right? I'm always like, YouTubers make too much money. What the fuck? You just like invest it or something.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want a random box of garbage, but I don't know. See, it'd be weird because can you imagine if Overwatch had a thing where there were like some super rare skins that like you couldn't buy and only a few people got, and then there was like an economy where people could trade or buy these things off of each other.
Yeah.
Like that's why I feel like I listen to Jim Sterling all the time, and he fucking hates the Overwatch loot boxes, and he considers it to be just like the same as the rest of them pretty much. But I mean, like, it's so inconsequential in Overwatch. Like, it's just
a skin.
I mean, even I understand that, like, you know, people want you see a skin. I really wanted the Grillmaster 76 skin.
Yeah.
I ended up buying it with the in-game cash, right? But I mean, if I didn't get it, I wasn't. Especially now that we know that the seasonal stuff is going to come back next season. That like
like once we went through a full year and they were like Halloween new skins. And old skins.
And the old skins are cheaper. You can just straight up buy them with
John and I were like, which ones do we want? It's so much better now.
But, I mean, like, yeah, at least everybody knows exactly what they're getting. I don't know. I still don't understand it. Do people still do that thing where they open up a bunch of Overwatch loot boxes on?
I don't know. I never watched
YouTube?
those. You told me about it, but I never watched it. I feel like that's a thing for, like, kids to watch, too. What adult is like, oh, man, I can't wait. This guy, Jeff on Rage Select's my favorite. He just blows $100 on loot boxes and spends like
2 hours
just opening them up.
Yeah,
that's all he does on Twitch. I come home from work, I crack open a cold one, and I watch Jeff open some loot boxes. Like,
yep, that's my career now. I would be unsatisfied with that. I'd be like, I wish I was playing Overwatch and not opening the fucking stupid packages. God damn it. It's like literally the video game embodiment of opening a Christmas present and having a sweater. And you're like, oh, well, this is useful. And I hate it.
Yeah.
Fucking when of these has firecrackers or like
what the fuck?
Optimus
Who's
Prime?
Who's giving you firecrackers for Christmas?
My aunt is weird, all right? Anyway, speaking of loot boxes, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has taken Emperor Palpatine out.
Why?
Nobody really knows.
Is it because he's evil?
They're very cagey. Apparently, it's because he's probably the thing that people think right now
He's
is
a problematic figure.
he's way too powerful.
Oh, is he?
Is that his lightning chains between people, and that he's got the, in the prequels when he does a little spinny flippy thing.
He has that too.
He has that, so he can get into the other team and then just like zots a whole shitload of people at the same time.
Why don't we just make him show up rarer?
That's not how it works in Star Wars. You basically build up battle points and then you spend them to like spawn as either like a hero or like a walker or like a elite soldier or something like that. So
if he comes back, he might be like nerfed.
yes. Which can I, since we're keep looking at the clock. It's a weird thing, Amanda. I don't want to go too far down this particular rabbit hole. But as you mentioned, let me explain. Sometimes I'll see a thing in my YouTube will see that I watched like one video about something contentious that happened in the video game industry, and so it'll serve up just like
you want to watch all of the videos about this one particular topic.
Well, not even just that, but like here's one about this, and here's one about somebody bitching about how like an SJWs are doing something or whatever, and then it's kind of like, which one of these do you want? So I'll always open them up in an incognito tab because I don't want YouTube tracking me and being like, you want to see a bunch of these? Because like, well, I do today, but tomorrow I want to go back to Bon Appetit and fucking Philip DeFranco. Like God, I'm an old woman.
Do old women watch Philip DeFranco?
I don't know.
Philly D.
He's an attractive young man.
Is he though?
I don't know. He's really regular looking.
Yeah,
so.
he's kind of average. I mean, no offense if Phil DeFranco's listening. I watch as well, but about average, bro.
Anyway, numerous times over the course of my YouTube career or my YouTube viewing, I've kind of gone down the rabbit hole of Star Wars. SJWs. The Last Jedi is the worst movie. There's never been a worse movie than The Last Jedi. It's the worst. Blah 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 blah. And I was reading an article or I was listening to somebody, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, ever since the debacle that was The Last Jedi, everybody's got a newfound appreciation for the prequels." I'm just like, "Oh, fuck off! Why? They're not better."
Yeah, they didn't get better.
Ugh, have you watched them? Gross. Episode 1 is virtually unwatchable. Like 30% of it is fucking Hayden, the little kid. No, that's not Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
So I'm a person and my name is Anakin. Oh God, get out of here.
This is what I call pod racing.
Fucking there's the Jewish fly man and like the Chinese Trade Federation, and then in the third one, it's got the mud aliens who are all brown, who make the oh my God, and anyway, sorry.
What does this have to do with anything?
Nothing. Let's move back to Overwatch. All my carefully planted segues are just fucked.
Gone. They're fucked.
Overwatch is now on ESPN. Overwatch League.
Really?
Yes. The Overwatch League finals and such are going to be broadcast on Disney XD and ESPN3, as well as highlight recap on ABC News, ESPN2, and I think that ESPN is doing day 1 of the finals. For the millionth time, I wish I would buy cable just to have the Ocho.
The Ocho, like dodgeball and like random ass shit.
When they have their montage, one is like riding lawnmower racing.
Was it like competitive lawn mowing or something?
And then I think one of them was like 2 guys with snakes whipping each other with snakes back and forth. And I'm like, I would fucking watch that.
Dude, it's called YouTube.
Yeah, but then I got to look up like guys hit each other with snakes.
Yeah, do that.
Do
that in incognito as well,
right.
Just in case. Just in case.
Anyway,
because of the implication.
I'm so happy that Overwatch is getting mainstream approval. I feel like, I don't know if it's just because it's Blizzard, because the international for Dota 2 is way bigger than Overwatch, and so is EVO, I think, for that matter. But the thing is that I feel like Overwatch is really easy for people to watch.
Yeah.
Like Dota 2 is incomprehensible. I can't follow it. Like I can kind of follow what's happening.
It's like new user friendly, even as like new audience friendly. It doesn't take a lot to jump into it. It's easy on the eyes, like art wise. It's even I'm watching somebody play really well is awesome. Playing it yourself and being really bad at it is still kind of enjoyable. So it's one of those things that you can actually like watch people play and then be like, you know what, that makes me really want to play it. And then you play it and you might not be as good as those people, but you still get that same sense of enjoyment.
Also, Evo, I felt like doesn't work unless you know, like if I gave somebody who didn't really know much like a video of somebody playing Street Fighter. You know what? The perfect example, you've seen the video where it's the guy who tech hits all of Chun-Li's thing. Okay, that would make no sense why people were like cheering their asses off unless you know how Street Fighter Alpha 3 plays. Like you have to have somebody explain to you what a tech hit is, right? So if you show somebody the world finals of, say, Street Fighter 5 and then I don't know, like Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Like a layperson, I feel like it's just going to see like, okay, it's just hit the other guy, and then this guy hits the other guy.
Yeah.
And like, why are you all so excited about this? Whereas even in Overwatch from first person, like you can see the difference between every character in first person just because of the way that they move and the way that their hands are in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
You can instantly kind of connect to it. So I don't know. I'm really glad because I like Overwatch. So
me too. In case you guys didn't know.
Yeah. And
we don't talk about it enough on Rage Select.
One last Overwatch story. Everybody who loves Overwatch so much. Last month, I believe it was.
We trick you with Fortnite talk, and then we just slide in some of that.
Let's talk about Overwatch. So last month, I believe, they had Pink Mercy skin that was basically just a direct donation to breast cancer research, I believe. $12 million
nice
raised on that. So, like, good job, everybody.
Yay.
And, you know, if you were going to pay real money for a virtual piece of video game clothes, that's a good one. That's a good one to do.
They should do that every month and have like a different
like go through all the heroes. I think you got to give people like a cooldown time on something like that.
Well, I think if it's skins for different heroes and then it's 2 different charities, I think it would be really interesting to do.
Yeah, I can see doing maybe like one a quarter.
Yeah.
Every 3 months.
Because if you're doing like pink for breast cancer, you could easily do one for like testicular cancer or anything like. And I would do like Soldier 76 and give him
balls.
Like, just straight up No, dude, you do Hammond. He is a ball.
This is a big peach ball with a bunch of little hairs drawn on it.
I would. You have no idea how much money I would pay for that just to like fuck people up with a giant testicle.
I'm now just imagining the video where a Hammond rolls up and a second one rolls up and then like Zarya comes walking up through the middle. Like.
We're just like, hey guys, you know, for breast cancer, you guys raised $12 million. For some reason, the testicular cancer, you guys raised $55 million.
Yep. All right. From there, we're going to move on to Warframe. So Warframe, in my opinion, does not get the love that it deserves. Warframe's been around for 4 or 5 years now. It's a free-to-play game. It's a third-person action game where you got a bunch of cyber ninjas running around. Their con is called TennoCon. The Tennos are the suits, all right, that the people wear.
Okay.
And so this year they announced 2 new updates that were coming to Warframe. The first is called Fortuna, and it's on Venus, and it's another big open world area. They only have one of these right now.
Yeah.
Most of Warframe is instanced. It's like on a planet, but it's like a closed map. But they're having a new big Venus map, and hoverboards.
Finally.
Which look pretty cool.
Yeah, that
to
shit
drive
looks
around.
sick.
There's also some big robot spiders. They're going to have a couple of new classes coming in.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is all free because
Wow, really?
Warframe is free. So basically the way that Warframe works is that...
Does the gameplay look like that?
Uh-huh.
Because it looks really nice.
Oh, yeah. Matt and I we did a video on this a while back.
I don't watch videos with you and Matt. Sorry.
Okay. But yes, this is what Warframe looks like. It is a free-to-play game. Basically what happens is that the progression is pretty linear, but there's a time aspect where, like, if you want to unlock a new Tenno, because you can max out your Tenno,
Yeah.
right? If you want to unlock a new one that has a different set of abilities, because they're like kind of like Destiny, where you've got like regular ability and then a second ability and then like an ultimate ability type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can either grind for like a month to open up a new skin, or you just go buy it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they do. They're actually, I feel like they're a really good company. They had a thing where they used to do they would put out a skin. I think the way that happened was they would put out a skin and then it would have a bunch of other cosmetic stuff, and it was all in a big bundle.
Mm-hmm.
And the community complained because they were like, well, I already have all this other stuff, so I feel like I'm paying for only half of what I'm paying for is what I want, and the other half is just kind of useless junk that I already have.
Yeah.
And so they literally went back in and kind of reframed it, and they actually did a Twitch stream where they were like, what do you guys want? You guys tell us what you want. We'll figure out how to make it work.
You know, when I go on Twitch streams and I say, what do you guys want? I get a lot of different requests than that.
Oh, yeah?
Mostly just showing your feet.
Show me your feet.
Can I see your feet?
But this is interesting because it's one expansion that's coming, but then there was a second expansion that's called Railjack that they demonstrated at TennoCon. This is very, very impressive. Basically, a group
this shit is pretty.
of 4 different Warframes can get into this really big ship, and the 4 people that are on the ship, which are all, individual players, can fly the ship up out of the atmosphere and into space in real time.
Uh-huh.
And then those 4 people can basically, this is what they demonstrated, was assaulting a mothership. Anybody who hasn't seen this should go watch this because it's pretty incredible. Because there's one person that's literally steering the ship, and you can see the stuff outside. And then the other players are like shooting turrets out of the sides and repairing stuff. There's one point where they get close enough to the mothership that the mothership launches basically a bunch of like boarding parties, and the main people have to go in and kind of fend off boarding parties that are coming in. But then the most impressive part comes towards the end when the people on the ship basically coordinate, and then one of the characters, there was an update for Warframe where they had a space combat thing where the Tennos had these mech suits that would let them fly around in space. And in here, when you're assaulting this mothership, you could literally jump out of the ship into space, activate your space frame, fly over to the other ship, go inside of it, take down the reactor shields, and then fly back while your ship is blowing up like the reactor on this mothership.
That sounds fucking cool as shit.
And it looks cool as shit, too.
Yeah, it really does.
In fact, when you're down on the planet, there was bombardment that was happening because this ship was up there, and this mission was to make an area clear for things to happen in. There's also kind of a whole mechanic that you see here of one person like using like a hacking ability to basically support the other player inside of the ship by hacking turrets and opening doors and stuff like that.
This seems cool.
Yeah.
If done properly. What are the odds you have the right 4 people to do this with?
See, the thing is that they're pretty high because the people that play Warframe are really into Warframe.
Okay.
They're like the people I was talking about, they're single game, like all they play is Warframe. So I think that there's a pretty good chance, and even if there's not, usually Warframe, it has such a gradual upward curve of getting you into the game that by the time you get to this point, like by the time you get to the area in the game that's going to let you do this, you're going to need to be a high enough level that you're going to kind of know how things work. This whole thing ends with the characters driving the ship basically getting into this gigantic ass gun turret and then just like blasting open the reactor to this other ship that literally starts exploding while the other character that was inside of it is running to try to get out.
He's like, why did you warn me?
You were supposed to wait for 5 minutes. That was in 5 minutes. So anyway, pretty sure all this is free, and pretty sure it's all coming in the next year. It makes things like, they also said in the demo that like when you're on the bridge of the mothership that you can look out and literally see your ship flying around like attacking.
Yeah, that's cool
in real time.
Fuck.
this makes things like Star Citizen and Destiny
Yeah.
and a lot of these just look like complete fucking chump burgers
Yeah.
because I feel like I've been watching Star Citizen and Sea of Thieves has a bunch of people driving around a ship doing stuff, but like, oh, look, you can blow up a bunch of stuff and be a cyber ninja in this game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost any money. So, I don't know. Amanda was seeing all this for the first time.
Yeah, it looks cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something I'd be interested in, but I imagine if I played it, it'd be like, why am I so bad at this? So,
Actually, it's really easy to play.
yeah.
And do you know what?
What do you fucking work for him? What are you selling it to me? It's free.
Sort of. I'm sort of selling it to you because before I started playing it, I feel like it's a game where I'm like, oh man, I was playing Warframe yesterday. People are like, what is that? Is that
What's
like
a
a
Warframe?
What is it? Is that
Yeah.
one of those crappy free to play games? And it's like, no, it's a really, really good free to play game. But you'll have a chance as well if you want to soon because it's actually coming to the Switch.
I have it. I have it. I have a PlayStation 4. I
Mhm.
have an Xbox
Mhm.
One. I have a Switch.
Yep.
I don't have to wait for something to show up on the Switch, Jeff.
Okay. Well,
Having said that, I probably wouldn't play it unless it was on the Switch.
so the same company that made the Doom and Wolfenstein
Okay.
ports is basically putting it out on the Switch.
Wow, they've been busy.
Yeah, it looks like the thing about Warframe is that it's got such a solid art style that it looks like it's a little bit less detailed here. Like there's definitely fewer
Yeah.
particle effects.
Yeah, you can tell that it's not the same.
But I don't know. I think it looks really good. So I don't know. Check it out. You never played Warframe before? Go download some Warframe, or wait for this to come out and then go download some Warframe or whatever.
I don't know, live your life. Fuck, don't listen to
Yeah.
us.
You do what you want to do. You want to go outside? I'm not stopping you. Go outside already.
Yeah, go do that or whatever. I don't know.
But if you're going to go outside, make sure to go outside in a giant mech, just like in Override Mech City Brawl.
Yeah, this shit looks awesome.
Yeah, this is Matt Frank's basically. I think the trailer for this game came out on Monday, and Matt just like
Cried. He's been
Facebook
crying for,
messaged
like,
me with like just like OMG blah 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 blah, and then when he came over, he was like, I want to be on that dojo. I don't even know when this game is
Oh
going to
my
come
god,
out.
can I be on that dojo specifically to upset Matt?
Can you and Matt?
No.
It's got to be one of the. Shit. I'll let you two fight it out. My name's
Well,
Paul.
between-
and just between y'all.
Between me and Matt, who do you think would win in that fight?
Well, you're obviously not a soccer mom. You're a scary punk rock lady.
yeah, I'm punk as fuck.
And Matt's a twig full of weird energy. So I don't know.
He's like a chihuahua in human
He
form.
just runs around. Anyway, so this is a mech combat game.
I'm just kidding. You're my friend, Matt.
Big mech combat game where you're fighting around in cities. It's got a single player mode. It's got a multiplayer mode. It's got
Is the
co-op
multiplayer mode where each person controls one aspect of a mech? Because it looked like there was a point where they were like, player 1,
Yes.
arm.
Yep.
Player 2, other arm.
Yep.
And I kind of checked out for that.
That was
because
the party mode, essentially.
fuck, I don't want to be part of that fucking party.
Player 3 legs, player
So
4.
we can all pretend to be Power Rangers?
Apparently, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not cool with it.
You got to live the life of being the right arm.
Yeah, no.
So,
What if you're the left foot?
I don't know.
What do you do?
Well,
What do
one
you do with
person
your
is
life?
Both legs.
Oh, okay. That's
Anyway,
good because I would hate to be the left foot.
this looks really stylish. Like I think that's the thing that makes it really look nice. That makes it attractive is that it looks really nice. Like
Yes.
it's very crisp. All the mech designs are real nice. There's some big old monsters to blast on.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that one of them apparently just has a big chair.
Yeah, he looks like a big old wrestler. I think it's I just am assuming that it's a reference to Kaiju Big Battle,
Oh, okay.
which is a professional wrestling
where they have the suits.
where they have the giant.
They played that after the E3 one year, right?
Yeah, last year's Devolver Digital segued into
Right.
Kaiju Big Battle thing.
Well, there's also like a Mechagodzilla.
Okay, yeah.
This is one that looks kind of a little bit like Optimus Prime. We got a big kind of Nintendo robot. Anyway, this thing looks really cool. And yeah, unfortunately, this is pre-alpha footage, I believe. So
Ah.
still got a ways to go, but it definitely looks cool. and I definitely can't wait to check it out. I feel like I keep clicking around in this trailer while we're watching it. I just keep going to Amanda's least favorite part with the party co-op. All right. Now we have to speed up because we took too long messing around.
Yay!
Prey is getting some new themes. Prey Mooncrash is getting some new themes for Skyrim and Far Cry, and it looks kind of I'd spend more time talking about this. Like, some of it is just like the Skyrim box art painted on the side of one of the little robots that follows you around in Prey, or like the little spider monsters with like an American hat or like a little Chinese.
I mean, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like, bam, I'm an American.
Right. I just don't know. I kind of finished that DLC, and I don't think I need any reason to go back to it. Let's see. In further Bethesda news, are you tired of Bethesda re-releasing Skyrim?
Yeah, all this, yeah.
On everything?
Okay.
Well, the last
Bad
week,
news.
in an interview, Todd Howard said, if you're tired of us re-releasing Skyrim, please stop buying it, because as long as people, apparently there's still like,
I mean, that's fair.
According to their internal metrics, there are like 1 million people every month that are still playing Skyrim. And it's just like, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
If people keep buying it, then you keep selling it. I would actually really like them to make a mod where it doesn't seem like this when you're playing the game, but in VR, all of the people of Skyrim are a little squatter and shorter and fatter than a regular person is when you're looking at them in VR. And so it's kind of like a land where everybody is like a head, like a few inches shorter than you.
So you get to feel like you're an ogre and they're little hobbits.
Weirdly proportioned, yeah. All right, some trailers. Darksiders 3 has a release date, November 27th.
Yay.
They also have a trailer. It's bad.
It's just lackadaisical.
I don't know. This is the Flame Hollow trailer. This makes me really worried about Darksiders 3 because this is just a really shoddily, like, you could have given me B-roll and I could have put together something that was better than this. Like, it's just this weird song. There's no sound effects. There's no real voiceover.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, it's like just an action montage, which is okay, but you need that third heat, man. You got to get in there.
This feels like something that would have been brought out early.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And been like, just more like demo-y, like, we just wanted to show you some gameplay.
Yeah.
Not a trailer like right before it comes out in November.
I have a feeling this is going to get pushed back to Q1 of 2019.
You think?
Mm-hmm. Well, I also think that release date is fucking ludicrous.
Why?
Because November, that's like when all the big games are coming out. That's when you're going up against like Battlefield and Call of Duty, and you got to have some fucking stones to get in October, November, right?
Yeah.
Late December, maybe people got some Christmas money and there ain't shit out, but January is really, where you want to start over again. And Darksiders, while a well-known brand, I just don't think has the oomph to basically try to get the $60 from you instead of Black Ops 4. Of course, I don't know. Black Ops 4 could just be the turning point, could be the tipping point where there's just a big drop-off.
Maybe.
Let's see. I'm going to cut a few of these. Phantom Doctrine has a release date, August 14th. This is one that I've been following a little bit, but I wouldn't put it past anybody to not have ever heard of this. It's basically a Cold War era kind of XCOM-ish tactics game where you're kind of going around doing spy shit, blasting people, jumping into rooms, hitting people with baseball bats and stuff.
Yeah, living the dream.
I think it looks really cool, personally, because
it looks neat as fuck.
I'm such a sucker for anything that has a different time period, right? If it's not medieval fantasy or the far-flung future. And I was actually thinking the other day about why people don't make... I don't know why that many people don't make modern-day games set in the modern day.
Like just right now?
But not just like right now, but like... Saints Row 3 was kind of modern day, but it was also wackadoo fucking schmackadoo, right? Like, I feel like a lot of times when it's modern day, it's like, oh, it's modern day in the hot zone in China where we're going in to extract, and it's like...
About Far Cry.
Far Cry
modern day?
Was modern day, but then it was also weirdly...
timeless because they isolated you from everything?
No, it was also a fantasy game because of all the dumb drugs bullshit and the fact that the technicals were all over the road. Like, it was farcical, right? And the fact that you're strafing the giant statue with your helicopter, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, that's cool. But it might as well have taken place in Mordor for as realistic as it was.
That's true.
So, let's see. And last but not least, we got a trailer for AI, the Somnium Files, which is the new game by Kotaro Uchikoshi, who did, was that 999 and Zero Escape?
Mm-hmm.
And there is very little to this trailer outside of there's a guy and his name is Kaname Date, and that's it.
He has a cool outfit.
It's a nice 3D thing. Oh, yeah, and there's a merry-go-round where all the horses are impaled and they're just going, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, they're like, ow, ow, why would you leave us like this?
So, you know what? Great. Some kind of crazy Japanese thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a whole list of these between like the what is the name of that? Danganronpa and this and stuff where the people really like. I've never really been able to get into one of them because I can't sit still long enough because I'm fucking jacked up on caffeine and beer all the time. So, good news for everybody.
Yay.
Commandos, which is a game series that I feel like a lot of people have never heard of, is getting a new game. So back in the old 90s, there was a game called Commandos Behind Enemy Lines. And it was basically a World War II top-down, real-time, sneaking around. Do you remember when we played a game called Shadow Tactics?
Yes.
And it was like the ninjas doing the stuff?
Yeah.
And remember how I kept saying that there was a game that was like that?
Yeah.
That's this game.
Oh, okay.
So they're remastering the original, and they're going to be putting out a new one. And I could be happier because
now you have a reason to play it on Rage Select.
hell yeah. Hell's yeah, I do. Fucking ain't right. Oh, yeah, I should play that on Rage Select. Goddamn.
Yeah,
Listen.
fucking write that down. When a video game comes out, we play it on Rage Select.
No. The original, like, before it comes out to be like, hey, everybody, let's look back at Commandos. See, but I really love this game because it was like you had 5 different commandos, and each one of them was different. Like there was a spy who could impersonate German officers. There was a sniper. There's the main guy, this guy that we're looking at the picture of, who was just like the Marine. But
it looks like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I can see it.
It's like Universal Soldier Jean-Claude Van Damme.
So that's the good news. The bad news is that Code Vein, the Bandai Namco weird vampire futuristic Dark Souls-y thing, is getting delayed into 2019. So can't play Code Vein until 2019. Sorry, everybody. But I'll make it up to you. Amanda, how do you feel about them Funko Pops?
Oh, I hate them.
You hate them?
Yeah. Oh, I can't stand them.
Okay.
They're Beanie Babies for the new millennium.
For nostalgic nerds?
Yeah.
Well, now you can get a Pikachu one.
Yay.
Sorry, guys. There wasn't very much in the way of like, and that's the weird story to end before we go on break.
Yeah.
Go get a Pikachu Funko Pop. Or don't.
Is that the first Pokemon Funko Pop?
First and only.
Considering how many, like they literally have Funko Pop vinyl figures of everything.
All the Stranger Things kids.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot.
I kind of find them offensive in their art style. They look like garbage.
I think it's cute. It was. And then when they were like everything, I was like, all right, calm down. And then people were like, no, I collect all of them. When Toys R Us was still a thing, there's this thing called Toys R Us. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It doesn't exist anymore. But John and I, when they started closing, John and I would go every once in a while just to see like how good the deals were for things. And we would always peruse the Funko section, and you would get the diehard Funko people, and they always wanted to talk. So we'd go in and be like, oh, hey, look, like Rick and Morty. And they'd be like, no, that's not the one you really want. This one that I've been looking for is worth hundreds of dollars. And my buddy found one at the like Toys R Us up in Round Rock. But no, I'm going to find one, I swear. And it's just like, dude, nothing's worth any. Let me tell you right now, as somebody who collected stamps in junior high, as somebody who grew up in the 90s when people were like
Marvel collectible cards.
Cards, the cover variant covers and shit like that.
Polybagged X-Force 99.
Beanie Babies.
Yep.
it's all worthless.
Yeah.
Buy what you like. Don't worry about collecting shit. It's garbage. Unless it's bricks of gold, don't fucking bother.
Or if you're going to do it, make sure that you have if you're doing it for cash, make sure you have an aggressive short-term strategy, because a day is going to come when the bottom falls out of that and you're just left with a bunch of plastic garbage, right?
Yeah, you want to sell while it's still popular.
I would rather invest
And the bubble's already burst for Funko, I think.
in the dumb crypto kitty market, little crypto cats. Do you not know these?
No.
They sell these crypto cats, and they're basically like you know how cryptocurrency works with like the blockchain?
100% not at all.
Okay. Basically, think about it like this: there's a master record of what everything in a cryptocurrency is, called blockchain. It's distributed, so it's like everybody knows that this belongs to you, right?
Yeah.
And when you sell it to somebody else, then that transaction is completely set up, and it's all uploaded in a thing called the blockchain. So they're selling these cats, these like little virtual pictures of a cat, basically, and then each one of them is specific. So you have to. This one only exists for this person, so you can't get them, and then you can essentially breed them for different traits that come into like the second generation. Anyway, it's dumb as shit, but I'd rather do that than have a bunch of plastic garbage piled up in the corner of my house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
At least it's just digital garbage in the corner of your computer.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't have to have the digital garbage like literally sitting in my house somewhere. Anyway, that's it for the first part of this. We're taking a break. When we come back, we are going to answer some questions. So stick around, and we'll be with you in a moment.
Yay.
And we're back. We're back to definitely talk about video games and not socio-political things.
What up? It's your boy, video gamer, elite Uber hacker.
That's right. What was that? Gameskanks.com. Back at you.
Hell yeah. Gameskank.
Gameskanks. Mail@rachelight.com is the email address.
That's what the
Mail at
outro.
gameskank.com is the email address.
The outro of the podcast is just like, catch you later, Gameskanks. Gameskanks. Ooh. yeah, you gotta have the air horns, otherwise it's not worth it.
Game Skanks? We're like a morning DJ show now. Game Skank. Anyway, mail@rachelight.com is the email address, and we've got a bunch of emails this week. Our first one comes in from Seymour, who says,
Suddenly Seymour.
Dear Jeff and Amanda, I have been single for a very long time, but no more. I found a great girl on a dating website. At this point, we have been together for almost a year. However, we have a significant age difference, 6 years to be exact. Luckily, we both work in the film industry, so we help each other out to succeed, but we also bond for our love of video games. We play games like Overcooked, Injustice 2, This War of Mine, and Papers, Please. This War of Mine and Papers, Please. Jesus Lord.
Wow. We like really depressing games.
Question, what are some of your favorite games to play with your significant other? Cheers. This is from Seymour, who has an auto sign that has his phone number in it, so now I can call him whenever I need film advice.
Seymour, help!
Seymour, this is Jeff from Rachelight. Hold on, I got a question about filming. Hold on. So I was hoping that you could help us out with this, because my girlfriend doesn't actually really. I mean, she really liked Night in the Woods. She played that all the way through to the end.
I still think you should play Monster Prom with her.
The problem with Monster Prom is that it's on my PC, so it has to be done like here. We can't do it downstairs on the couch where we all just like hang out. Couch
here.
It's a filthy, filthy couch.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you have a show called Gameskank.
We tried playing some Minecraft.
Why am I allowed to sit on the filthy, nasty couch, but it's not pristine enough for your girl? Friend. Sorry, I didn't finish the...
glossing over that part, we tried playing a little Minecraft. She I feel like just didn't.
I don't enjoy Minecraft as a two-person playing experience. I really like, to me, that's more meditative, like just me zoning out and being in this world.
Yep. I've downloaded a whole bunch of games and tried to get her to play some, and she's not really interested in most of them.
It just depends on the people. But John and I have a tendency to do games where we just back and forth, like when you lose, the other person plays.
Okay.
So we do a lot of Overwatch, where we'll like play until we level up, or we get a loot box and then it's the other person's turn.
Okay.
Or We did Cuphead that way, where it was just you played until you died, and then we would just go back and forth.
Oh, so you wouldn't actually play the 2-player version of Cuphead?
No, I'm not great at 2-player with that one because I hate play that game.
Okay.
Because I'm just like, fuck you, God, what the fuck? And I don't want to do that with John.
Right.
I'd rather do it like after or before.
I'd rather
like,
swear next to him, not
with him. Yes.
Okay.
Just because I'm too frustrated, and so if he's like bouncing around just being jolly, it's hard for me to hate play that game.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to think of the last time we played a game like together where we're both. Yeah, I can't think of like a co-op or anything.
I don't know. Me and my girlfriend, we tend to more watch TV shows together. In fact, we were watching this Netflix, the show that's on Netflix. It's like a British like weird medical things that people have, where they like come to this truck.
Is it like a true?
It's like reality TV where people are like, I have this psoriasis, and they're like, oh, okay, it's really bad, and it's like, okay, well, we're gonna get you in to this specialist and see what they can do about all. It's like, look how gross these things are, and then we're going to make them better, and the people are going to be like, hooray, that's better now.
I like when you two used to just watch like Great British Bake Off.
Yeah.
And now you're watching gross.
The gross British
I have pustules. Please help me.
Yeah. The thing is that I can't really watch those. Like, I watch a horror movie all day long, but like, they had one that was just a show about boobs. It was just all boobs.
You're like, I was down for the boob show, but I'm not down for... That's called Glow, and how dare you?
There was a lady there that had 36 double J boobs that
Did she have a wheelbarrow that she carried them with?
No, but she literally had to stand up and bend over to get the bra to hook up into them before she could put it on.
Yeah.
And so like part of that was she had a breast reduction surgery.
Yeah.
And then part of that was them showing the breast reduction surgery, and I was just
I used to love I love surgery videos. There's a documentary on Netflix about obesity, and I think it's called Obesity Postmortem.
Yeah.
And they literally do an autopsy of an obese woman, and they talk about like, this is her liver, and they like cut it out of her and then like slice it to show you. It's so interesting. I love it.
See, I don't care.
I wanted to do it for a living for a while. Like I went to college for that, so yeah, I'm undo it.
I don't care if it's dead people, but I don't want live people. Like,
have you ever seen open heart surgery?
Yeah, even that is not as like. This
I love seeing a heart beat with the chest open.
With the chest just all
it's so interesting. It's amazing.
One of the ones was this guy that had lost a lot of weight and he had the extra skin.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to get that like removed / tightened up.
Yeah.
And it was the part where they were like, then they removed the nipples and saved them for later. And I was just like,
do you think they ever mix it up and you end up with your left nipple on your right side?
When they had this guy put back together again, his nipples were too close to the center of his chest. So it looked like a pair of eyes just like staring out. And I was like, bro, they put your nipples on in the wrong place. And also, listen, I don't know if just putting nipples back on means that the nerves are severed.
Yeah.
Because if the nerves are severed, you just leave the nips off, man. I'll be a fucking cartoon character.
I bet that's an option where you could be like, look, am I going to be able to fill anything? And they're like, no, it's kind of just there to be there. Then I'd be like, leave them off. I'll just tattoo fucking flat ones on. It's fine.
Just draw it on with a magic marker. Boop, boop.
I mean, why not? Just get a tattoo over the scars. You're fine.
Yeah, if there's no feeling left in them, male nipples are stupid, and there's no good reason unless somebody can fucking give you a fucking titty twister.
Oh my God, you'd be impervious to the purple herbals.
No, they would do it, then it would come off. What did you do? You tore my nipple off. You're like, holding a nipple. And you're like, asshole.
That really only works like once.
I don't even feel that.
I have nothing.
Watch that. It's going to cut the other one off. Wa-ching.
Oh my God. You monster. Anyway.
Oh, dude, you should get like realistic looking special effects nipples that you could just put on, and you just like go to a party or something and be like, you guys want to see something really cool? And you just take your shirt off and just like, and they're like, You're like,
get a fork and you just like,
ketchup
packet in your hand so it's like bloody.
You should see what you idiots
Everyone's
look like.
you're not fucking invited to our parties anymore.
What, man? I got some ketchup on your coffee table. God. So, yeah, apparently, sorry, Seymour, we don't play games with...
significantly. Yeah, like
yeah.
John and I are marathoning through horror movies right now, but we're not, like, yeah.
What was the last horror movie that you watched?
Fuck. It's not... The Ritual was the second to last one. We did Cherry Falls yesterday, which is a Brittany Murphy slasher film.
Interesting.
It came out around the, like, time of Scream. It was, like, meta...
Okay.
horror movie. It was like a backward slasher, so it normally slashers kill the if you're a couple that has sex in a slasher movie, you're gonna die.
Right.
In this one, they killed virgins. So all these high school virgins are getting killed, and then it comes out that that's the MO of the serial killer.
Oh, shit.
And so the high school's like, we're gonna have a
Bo-town!
party. And
Bo-town!
It's so it was originally supposed to be a theatrical film, and then it got purchased by like the USA Network and re-edited to be a television film.
Interesting.
And so they like really toned it down, but the whole thing is basically an exploration of the idea of what happens when like the parents have to kind of deal with their kids' like safety.
Yeah.
If it means your kid's having sex.
Right. Is there like, but they just have to do it once, right? So
Yeah.
just be like, you know.
Yeah, but what parents like, I mean, just the one time, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just a weird dynamic of looking at sex in a different way than what slashers usually look at sex like.
Okay.
They said it's slashers are more conservative. This is a liberal murderer, is how they like jokingly talked about it. And I kind of like that idea. I thought it was really funny.
All right. Let's see. Ian writes in and says, hello, Jeff and Amanda. In about a week, I am departing to Seattle for a month for a summer job. I know you've mentioned, he's talking about me, that you've lived there in the past, and I was wondering if you could recommend me some things to do. Thanks, keep up the good work. And that is from Ian.
Yeah, you lived a exciting life in Seattle, right? Did a lot of things. You went out all the time, hung out with people, a lot of hiking, outdoorsy stuff. Didn't you just work?
No. No.
Weren't you just like stuck in your house all the time, your apartment?
You're thinking of me. I was actually like I was part of this group of people that like to go out to like different strange ethnic restaurants that were in Seattle. So I had Himalayan food one time, sizzling meats. I went to the pool with a bunch of people, but that was
sizzling meats. I just found the most sizzling meats I could find.
But it was weird because I was like, what was that? I was like 25 or something like that. And they were like, hey, you want to go to the pool this weekend? I was like, fucking shit, yeah. And then we all went to the pool. And they meant, do you want to come to the pool with a group of people and we're all going to swim laps? And I was like,
no.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah.
So I was just hanging out with the kids because I'm like, dude, I like a splash fight. Here we go. Splash, splash, splash. Also, my arms are way bigger, so I can get a big wave
Yeah, you
going.
do the whole, you get that.
Yeah. Which when I lived in an apartment building, my last place before I moved here, there was a big pool there, and I just like go down to the pool all the time. The problem is, and this is something not to wander too far into sociopolitical territory. There is a stigma against adult men hanging out with children.
Yes.
Like, I do not want to abduct your children. I actually don't think that having children around is a super fun thing. But you're in the pool and everybody's splashing. The adults are all fucking barbecuing and talking about Linda and fucking getting wasted.
Linda, am I right?
Right. And these kids, they all have like these squirt guns I've never seen before and the big pool noodles. And they're just like, yeah, the pool. And I'm like, hell yeah, the pool. Let's go for it. But then, you know.
And then the parents are like, get away from that strange man.
Right. But they didn't go that far, but you start getting a lot of side eye from them parents about just like, okay, now what's your deal, dude? And I'm just like, nothing. I have no deal.
I just want to be in the pool.
It's 100 degrees and I want to be in cold water. And you know what? Your kids are having fun and it looks fun. And I'm just like, let's have throw a pool noodle. Also, like,
maybe it's because you were too rough and you were just chucking pool noodles at children. Take that! You're like spearing them.
That's I don't know. I feel like when I was a kid that you could like,
like if people are in the pool, you just,
And then it's like, what was that? Which movie was it where the guy's in the pool and then he like goes underwater and the kid's standing outside and then when he comes up, the kid's gone and then he's like, the broken man that spends all his time looking for his kid.
You talking about House, like the horror movie?
No, I don't know what it is. There's some movie that has that, or some TV show.
There's probably several.
Some fiction where they're running around in the pool just being like, have you seen my kid? Have you seen my kid? And then, whatever.
Yeah.
But me personally, the thing is that I don't want to have children, but I like hanging out with children. Like, they're just like,
yeah.
Did you see this fucking alligator? And I'm like, hell yeah, man. Fucking alligator. Boom.
First of all, don't swim in a pool with alligators. What is going on? That seems like the
place.
Least safe pool.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I like to swim with sharks.
Anyway, things to do in Seattle. Okay, I cannot tell you a whole bunch of things, but I can tell you a few things.
I'm guessing get coffee.
It's coffee everywhere. Coffee. It used to be. I mean, it used to be the thing where it was like, oh, a whole bunch of good stuff. But like, fuck, wherever you live, there's probably at least 100 places that have some kind of fair trade. Fresh roasted.
I think it was Alton Brown who said that once a city becomes famous for something, that something stops being good.
Right. Here's what I would definitely recommend. Go down to the Pike Street Market, because that's a big fish market. People throwing fishes, dodging fish. They got a bunch of places where you can get like some chowders or some gumbos or some fish sandwiches or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all just like fucking right out of Puget Sound and directly in there. I can tell you that Seattle is a very pretty place when it comes to nature. Lots of big trees and such.
It's not a big hiking crowd.
Yep. There's plenty of places you can go to hike. I didn't ever do that because when I was that age, I was just like, fucking hiking. But there's a lot of really fun. Also, if you've never been that close, the Pacific Ocean is really good. Here's something that you should know. I didn't know before I moved to Seattle. Seattle, and I think the West United States has a very much more of like an Asian immigrant population.
Yeah.
Whereas like here in Texas, we have very much a Mexican immigrant population.
Yeah.
That's why I feel is like where borders are close. And so like in Austin, you can find a lot of places with really good Mexican food. In Seattle, you can find a lot of places with really good Asian food.
Yeah,
just like
that makes sense.
Sushi also is something that I would recommend if you're into that, because like you're literally sitting right on the water. The fish come out, they get fucking go to a sushi restaurant, blam, blam, done.
Yeah.
There's a place that when I was there called the Experience Music Project that was like a big music museum where they also had concerts. That was pretty cool. There are some limits as to what I did. I think there's a couple of good museums, but I never went to them. Jason actually went to Seattle with Allison and had a really good time. What I would really recommend doing would be going on to like something more like Yelp and looking at what's up there. I also moved to Seattle roughly 15 years ago, so
different city now.
Probably at least a little bit.
I always suggest doing touristy stuff at least for one weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, even in like Austin, living here, I like to every once in a while do the touristy thing because sometimes like John's sister was in town for when John and I got married, and her family like did a bunch of touristy stuff that we haven't done.
Yeah.
And it comes off really weird when she's like, oh, we went down to look at the bats. Did you guys ever go do that? Have you guys done that? And we're like, no. And it's just feels weird to be like, I've lived here for like 8 years and I haven't done that one thing. It's nice to do the touristy thing just so you have the common conversation piece to be like, oh yeah, we did that once and it was like this. Yeah, we did the Trail of Lights here in Austin during the holidays and it was cool. I don't necessarily have to go do it again kind of thing.
Right.
But you can talk about it. So like I would look for the touristy things, do it in a weekend and then make friends and then talk to them about what real city folk do.
You could do a lot worse than going into downtown Seattle. The Pike Street Market's kind of like in a back corner of downtown Seattle, and downtown Seattle is compact enough, and no matter when you go, the weather is temperate enough. I guess if you go in the winter, you got it rain all the time, right? But if you're going to be there during a nice summertime, which I think you said for a month, departing for a month for a summer job, so you're going to be there in the summer, beautiful, like 80 degrees, just like all the time.
Yeah.
You can go down there and you can kind of just walk around. Like if you're going to be there for a month, it might not be a bad idea just to go down there, maybe go to like the Pike Street Market. Also, the buses in Seattle used to be at least really good. They ran all the time. They're very clean. So you just take one downtown from wherever you're working, go downtown, and then just kind of walk around and just see what you can see. There's plenty of stuff to see. I'm a big fan of going to a city. I get this from my dad. Let's go to a city, go to one place, and then just like walk around and look at stuff and be like, oh, that place looks cool. I'm going to go in there. Just boop, 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 boop. So Good luck, Ian. Everything works out. Let's see. This is from Julio. Julio writes in and says, "Hey, Jeff and Amanda, do you guys ever think that there will be another E3 2015/Year of Dreams with several hardcore gamer dreams getting announced the same week, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, The Last Guardian, and Shenmue 3 getting announced during the whole event? Thanks for answering." From Julio.
Yeah, I think every couple of years it happens.
Yes.
I think it's not like every year or like every other year, but I do think you get a cycle of like it just happens that everyone's working on similar like dream stuff at once, and then it all comes out at once.
Yep. I feel like there's a difference between when you've got like the safe announcements, or like Sony this year. I felt, in spite of the fact that I like Sony and I liked their press conference, the most interesting part of their press conference, in some ways, was Control and Resident Evil 2 Remake, because we didn't know about those.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know exactly what Ghost of Tsushima was, but we knew there was a game. It was set in feudal Japan called Ghost of Tsushima. We'd seen Death Stranding. We'd seen the hell out of Spider-Man. And we hadn't seen gameplay, but we'd seen some stuff for Last of Us 2. And we knew about it. So there was no, like, and pull back the curtain. Everybody's like, oh, shit, you know. And the new Superman game, which is what I feel like a lot of people, that was like their last chance, right, was for that. It's kind of like, a lot of years you get locked into a cycle where, you know, they're just announcing stuff like they want to save it all up for another place, or they're just getting into the beginning of development. And so you've just got a lot of stuff that we already know about. So, you know, like Nintendo this year, I felt was a little disappointing because nothing that they announced was new. Like it, you know, the robot game at the beginning, right, was new, and there was a few things, but there was no like, here's gameplay from Metroid, right? It was
there was no like big ticket new item that you're just like mind blown.
I mean, Microsoft did that thing where they teased out the new Halo game, but that was like a pre-alpha proof of concept trailer. The thing is that, yes, Julio, what Amanda said is completely, having watched E3 for a good decade or more at this point, I could tell you that some E3s are dull because, I mean, they're always pretty fun, but every so often there's basically like, think about it like there's a bunch of what's a good analogy for this? Like there's a bunch of things. The planets are rotating, right? And then every so often they're all rotating at different speeds.
Yeah, they all like align, and
right? And then every so often you're going to get,
and then the gates of hell open, and then the Titans come back and they destroy the Earth.
Yeah. In fact, it's possible that next year might be an E3 of that. We may be seeing like,
it definitely feels like we're leaning closer to like bigger announcements, like every year. That I just feel like we haven't hit like the big thing. It feels like people are just waiting. Like there's a sense of anticipation, but then like we have like gaming blue balls as far as E3. But
which
I also
is weird because there's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of stuff this year.
Well,
you know?
honestly, I just kind of feel like it's hard to please everybody now. Yeah. So there's not. Plus, anytime they try to do something like that, something gets leaked and then it doesn't. It's not that anymore. Like it could have been, but then something got leaked like a month earlier, a couple weeks earlier, whatever, and it just fucking ruins it.
I think we're 2 years away from that E3. I think next year will be there'll be some good stuff, but I think that in 2 years we might be looking at like Cyberpunk 2077, Death Stranding, a new Halo game, all release ticket, first Starfield footage maybe from Bethesda, maybe an early trailer for the new Elder Scrolls game. You know, we're going to be past a lot of these kind of getting stuff out of the way things to a point where you got to kind of clear the docket to the point where there's going to be a place for big announcements. You know, here's the new game that Ninja Theory that they bought this year has been working on for Microsoft for 2 years. Here is, you know, Devolver's fourth show in a row where they really are blowing the roof off the end of the Nina Myers saga, right? Or like, you know, and then I think that there's also a possibility that not 2019, but 2020, you might also start to see new console announcements, which is, I don't know, but we're starting to get early rumblings of that. And so 2 years from now...
Already? I feel like that's soon. Is it because I'm old and now it just feels like nothing lasts long enough?
Yes.
Okay. Don't ever turn 30, kids.
Don't ever turn 40, kids. But no, I think because I feel like that's the year where your top tier final build games for the PlayStation 4 are coming out.
Like
so
the
like
swan song of the console. Like
Right.
we finally know how to use this console, so
Yeah.
let's do it to the best before we start fucking it up with the next console.
Mhm. and then that'll be, I feel like that's the announcement of the, like, say PS5, Xbox 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's still
I hope it's not called the Xbox 2.
there's still 2 years from that announcement.
Two
So
box, too furious.
so that's the year that it's announced with teaser trailers from both companies with a spec sheet.
Yeah.
The next year is where we see preview footage for the launch games, along with literally the best of the PS4, Xbox One libraries. And then the year after that would be about 9 years from the beginning. So you're talking 2020 announcement, 2022 release.
2023 Nintendo.
2023 Nintendo. You know what? It's possible that in that particular time frame, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2020 PS5, PlayStation, PS5, Xbox 2, 2021, the new handheld from Nintendo to basically release the same year as those other consoles. And then you could be getting a situation where 2020 E3 is very exciting, and then 2022, when all this shit comes out, is just like Christmas for us all, right? So, I don't know.
I don't plan to live that long.
Yes, that is if we are not all radioactive dust by that time. Will writes in and says, "Hello, Jeff and Amanda. Today I have a question about video game difficulty. Yesterday I was playing Song of the Deep, and I ran into a hurdle that almost made me quit the game. There's one part where you have to escape a group of monsters that is chasing you through an area that is filled with various obstacles. If the monsters get at all close to you, you're dead. You must restart. I ended up doing it almost 30 times before I finally made it through. It was very frustrating because you had to have absolutely perfect timing and muscle memory in order to beat it. So my question is, where do you draw the line between gameplay that is challenging but rewarding and gameplay that is frustrating and not fun? Thanks, Will."
2 days.
2 days?
I do I'm playing and then I get stuck and I try and no matter what I do, I can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
And then I stop playing it and then I try again the next day. If I'm still stuck, I'm done.
Okay.
But sometimes it's muscle memory, like fatigue and frustration.
Okay.
So like, yeah, you have the muscle memory because you're playing it for like a longer period of time or you're like well into the game.
Yes.
And then you just kind of get a fatigue for it. And I feel, for me, like if I'm marathoning through a game or I'm playing through a game and I'm stuck in a part, no matter how good muscle memory is for me, I will get a fatigue where I'm just a second too slow, that I'm just not getting it. And then I get frustrated, and then I'm like 2 seconds too fast because I'm trying to rush it, and then it just doesn't work. And then I have to stop because it's not going to... Then I'm just mad, and even if I beat it, I'm just like, fuck you, good, I'm done. So I'd rather just, all right, I'm done, and then I stop, and then if I come back the next day or the next time I get back to it, and I'm still stuck when I'm fresh, then to me that feels like a gameplay. That seems like the game's problem and not mine.
Okay. I'm different because I
hate yourself enough to keep playing those bullshit games.
I have a thing where me getting mad at games doesn't happen very often. Sometimes it happens. Like there'll be something that happens in, I don't know, like sometimes even in like the Souls games or something, there'll be something where like I know how to beat this boss, but he just got a weird move in that I didn't anticipate, and so I'm just like, fuck you. But the thing is that when it comes to games that I'm playing fresh, I feel like I want to complete them. And so if I can get over the hump, that hump, then I feel like things are, I will bang my head up against a thing forever. And if I can't beat it, then I'll go onto the internet to look at what somebody else did. Usually there's a point of frustration.
Even if you know how to beat it, like it's not necessarily a like, I just can't figure out the next clue. It's like, I need to fucking jump over this thing and I keep hitting the button at the wrong time or whatever it is. There is a point where I think like you just get frustrated. Like, and it's not about like going online and being like, how do I hit the button right?
Yeah. I've found YouTube tutorials for things that are less intuitive than that before, but
true.
The major thing for me is a question of, am I having fun in total, right? So if I play a game for 6 hours and then there's a really difficult part where I'm having a really hard time getting out of it, I'm more willing to push forward. Whereas if I play a game for 2 hours and none of it is fun and I'm bored by it, then I usually just quit, not because it's hard, but because I'm not having any fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not I've actually looked deep into myself a few times and been like, I've played a game and I've just been like, fuck this part. I am just going to get to the next fucking part. Fuck this part.
Yeah.
And then I beat the game and I'm just like, the whole game, I was like, fuck this game.
Yeah.
Fuck this part. Fuck this game. But I played that shit all the way to the end because I was like, well, so I was having fun, hate playing the game, because there's also something about, you know, when you get really frustrated and then you do manage to get past that thing, oh yeah, you suck it, you piece of garbage.
That's
like,
that's how I play Cuphead. It's 100% how I play Cuphead.
But for the most part, it's about, for me, stepping back and being like, do I like this game? If I like a game, there's almost nothing that I won't do to get past a part. I think that like that's one of the things that I had about two of the games that you really liked was both Spelunky and Cuphead, where I was like, I don't like this. Like, I think that the simple muscle memory, like bullet hell, like, I don't like bullet hells either. Like,
I don't think Spelunky's a bullet hell game.
But I feel like Cuphead is.
Yeah, Cuphead is.
But Spelunky also has that whole, I get really mad at games where, so roguelikes, I get mad when there isn't any sense of progression, or like where the sense of progression is you have to get so far to get the progression forward. So like FTL is a game that I should absolutely love, but I hate it because I always feel like I'm always just starting over and like, well, it's just a matter of time before I'm fucked, and then I lose every single thing that happened unless I can beat this insanely hard thing at the end of the game, and I'm just not interested in putting in enough work to get just one tick up to the next part. And I feel like game design actually needs to reflect that, is that you need to have something, you need to have some amount of forward momentum. Like if you die but you get an extra life to do the next time, right? Or you, like in Dark Souls, you bang your head up against something and it's not working, so then you go over and you just grind to get XP so that you can come back more powerful, and then okay, better, or you can try a different thing, or blah blah blah, or I didn't know that you were supposed to turn around that corner. There has to be a sense of progression in order to hook me and keep me interested. It's why I was actually just looking at my PlayStation menu and I was thinking about when this comes out. I ended up upset with the Spectrum Retreat because there were so many puzzles in that game where there was no way for me to know. Yeah, you just had to go fail the puzzle and then go keep resetting it and moving forward a little bit. But like that experience of failing because I wasn't psychic enough to know that block needed to be green and this one needed to be red, like it made me feel idiotic because it was just like, I'm not figuring anything out here. I'm just doing trial and error and then memorizing the pattern that I need to get forward.
Portal was really good about those kinds of things because it would kind of give you a first part of the test where it's like, oh, we already showed you how to do this, and then you do that thing, right? And then it builds up to that next thing where this was just like, I don't know, walk over here, and then you see cubes, and then you're like, well, what do I do with those? And it just,
Also, Portal had better puzzles because Portal iterates really well between each puzzle. So, like, there's no two rooms in Portal that feel super similar. Like, the next room is going to be about switches, and the room after that's going to be about lasers, and the room after that's going to be about turrets, and the room after that's going to... And so it's like Spectrum Retreat, the fact that we went through, like, 8 rooms that were all just like color. Even when we played the Turing test, I feel like there was a better sense of like, because you remember there was some color stuff in there, but then there were other things. Yeah. But then there was also this more compelling narrative over the top. That even that, if I'm irritated by gameplay, a compelling enough narrative will continue to propel me forward. So,
yeah, I agree.
At least that's what I think. Nick writes in and says, "Hello, Jeff and Amanda. Has there ever been a game with too many systems that has prevented you from enjoying it? For me, it would be The Witcher 3. From having to find the right potion to defeat a monster to having to find the right ingredients to make the potion in a game that is already too long. It makes me feel exhausted before I even begin, and I don't think I'll ever be able to complete it. Just want to say thanks for the great show as it brightens up my Mondays." You can watch this on every day, Nick. Every day. Also, I just wanted to tell. This is from last week. I wanted to tell John to not feel bad about eating a half slice of pizza at his reception. I spent $10,000 on my wedding, and all I got to eat was one bacon wrapped shrimp from being so busy.
Aw.
Love the show and good luck in the future, Nick. I personally think that you'd like. John told me that, and I was like, "Motherfucker, you should have just eaten some pizza."
I was pissed.
Yeah, Stop entertaining and eat fucking pizza.
Not in like a bitchy wife sort of way, but I was just like, eat a slice. I just eat a slice.
Yeah,
it's in front of your face, and he's like, "No, I gotta go say hi," and I'm like, "No one's gonna be mad that you ate a slice of pizza."
I was
like,
when he came in. When I came in, and he was just like, "Hi," and I was like, "Hey," and he's like, "Okay, so we got pizza over here, and this is what, and this is what," and I was just like,
he went.
No, dude, it's okay, man. Like I know how this works.
Yeah.
I'll just sit over here. I can eat some pizza.
I was fucking exhausted, and he was just like, "I got it," and I'm like, "All right, cool. You do whatever you feel like is necessary. I'm gonna sit down, and I'm not getting up unless it's to hug somebody, and then I'm going right back down."
Yeah.
And he took over.
Anyway, too many systems kept you from playing a video game.
Yeah, anything with any systems keeps me from playing. I hate I hate upgrade option. I know. I know. I'm the opposite of you.
Boo.
I don't like having multiple options for upgrades or like too many, because if I start feeling bad where I like go, fuck, am I supposed to only focus on one? Can I spread it out over many, or is it the kind of thing where it's like once you choose, that's the one you should complete? Because some do kind of punish you for trying to be like a well-rounded character. Instead, you're really supposed to follow like one.
How do you feel? Have you run into a game where it's like in Bastion when you're upgrading your weapons, like every upgrade is a choice between two different types of upgrades?
Yes.
And then you just choose one and then go up to the next one, and it's another two-thing choice. It's gonna be like the worst, right?
Yeah, it's awful for me. I also I suck at this. Is like how I'm a terrible gamer. I'm sorry, guys, I'm the worst. But I hate open world games.
Yeah,
I can't. It's too much. There's too much going on. Give me like it's just a linear. Point A, point B.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need all the added shit. It's just too much for me. Like my favorite open world game is Saints Row, basically 3 and up.
Right.
And it's just and that's because it's fairly linear. Like they kind of take away all the open world shit.
And the stuff it's pretty simple, and most of the things that you get are just like crazy powers. I guess Saints Row 4 has that whole like collecting the orbs to unlock the different superpowers.
Yeah.
thing.
So I fucked up on Saints Row 4, and we bought it, and John couldn't play it, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna play on my console and or my profile or whatever." And I stayed up all night. I worked for Spill, so I didn't have to worry about like going to work. And I stayed up all night, and I collected all the orbs. And so I literally had to wait for the game to be like, now you have this power, and then it'd be upgraded to the max right away. I broke the game.
Yeah. No. That game was broken by default.
Yeah, but I did it worse. So for everyone else, it was like a really short game, and for me, it was half of that, because once I got into playing it, it was done.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not good with the
systems.
Yeah, I just hate it. Just give me. I even can't play like Sims games, because it's like you got to build a house.
Yeah.
And then you got to build your people, and then you got to do all the stuff around the whole thing. And like if you're doing multiple families in the same city, I'm just fuck it. I don't want to do it anymore. Herb Sims in the City is a sim game that is a linear one character, and you follow like a plot. And that's my favorite one.
Oh no, the herbs.
I think I had it for. I want to say the
DS.
No, it was
Xbox.
No,
PS2.
Nope, the Nintendo one.
Oh.
What was the console that it was? GameCube.
Game Boy Advance.
No, I don't know the GameCube.
Yeah, I don't. I love systems.
Yeah, that's the difference between you and I.
Sometimes there are systems like in The Witcher 3 where I actually feel like Nick, I'm not trying to make you play The Witcher 3, but I've heard from a lot of people that like if you want to just jack the difficulty to easy and then focus on like two things, like most people in The Witcher 3 don't do all the shit in The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Like what you're talking about making like the decoctions in order to get bonus damage for a griffin by like finding the right herb and then making sure that you have the crafting components. Just go fucking shoot it with fire until it's dead, right? You could get away with just doing that in a lot of cases. But me personally, I love them. Like I'm actually playing a game right now, the Divinity Original Sin 2 that Michael and I are playing. That game is so fucking dense. Like it's so goddamn complicated. Like there's a part early on in the game where I literally had an item that was important to an NPC character, and every time I talked to them, there was no option to like show it to them. And what I had to do is go into my inventory and choose it and put it in my hand.
Yeah.
And when I had it in my hand to talk to them, and they were like, "Hey, wait a minute, what's that?" Or like, there's a whole system in that game where like water makes people wet, and people that are wet take bonus electricity damage. There's poison. Poison will poison you, but it's also extremely explosive. So if you hit poison with fire, it explodes. But then you can hit that and you can burn it out. If you have a fire that's raging in the world, you can literally create rain to put that fire out or to like wash away oil. But if you do that, then there's steam that's left. And if you shock steam, then it goes all the way through the steam, shocking everybody that's in it. So, and then like every character in that game has like a different magic, has a different set of magical abilities. And so managing like all of the like, here's poison. Oh shit, I need to get some rain in here to that person's on fire. They're going to take damage. And that's all before one of the people in my party is a Skeleman, and he's got the trait where like healing hurts him, but poison heals him. So it's like, all right, I want him to be poisoned because he just regenerates health when he's poisoned, but I want everybody else to not be poisoned. So I need to like move him out and then just I love that stuff as long as it's optional. Like that particular game is kind of as deep as you want it to be. And it's only when you're forced into, like if you want to play The Witcher. The reason I stopped playing The Witcher 3 wasn't necessarily because of complexity, it was because of time. It was a very long game. But complexity I'm a big fan of. But I'm also a big fan of like say you wanted to play Souls, right?
Yeah.
Go online and watch a video of somebody explaining to you what all the stats mean. And like, because, you know, that game has like 10 stats. They're all very important to different things. And then they also all have soft caps. So like after you put 30 into strength, if you keep putting more points in there, the amount of damage that you get out of that starts to drop way off. So it's like you never want to raise above a certain level. You know, there's certain like equipment types of things that require. The main thing is just that you would never know all this unless somebody told you. And so it can be very daunting in the beginning to just be like, here you go. Like, here's the world.
Yeah. See, I don't want to feel like I need to have like a master's degree before I start playing a game.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons that
plug and play, motherfuckers. Just go.
Divinity.
Tetris or nothing.
Like I found a well in that game.
Yeah.
Where there was like voices coming from the well about how they were thirsty. And so then I made it rain on the well, and the well filled up, and there were these corpses that talked to me that were inside of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I tried just throwing like a water barrel at the well, but then it like was on top. And that was the day that I learned that I can use my teleport spell to teleport items as well as enemies into locations. So you can literally like set something on fire and then teleport your enemy into the fire. Now they're on fire, taking damage and stuff like that. I love it when games do that. Like I said, as long as you can play it like a big dumb Dumbo. And you're not forced to play the game that way. So, all right, we got time for a couple more here. Jesse writes in and says, this is a long one. It's about accessibility. Hey there, Rage Like Crew. In a previous podcast, you briefly talked about the Xbox One's new accessibility controller. At the time of its announcement, I've seen many people online praise Microsoft for this endeavor. Do you remember what that is?
Nope.
So it's basically a giant. For everybody who didn't know. It looks like a drum pad, right? It's got two big black drums on it, and then it's got the Xbox stuff on one side, and then it's got a bunch of ports in the back that you can essentially add on different type of peripherals to let people, say, control the joystick with their feet or like blow into a thing.
Yeah.
To basically put customized things on to let people who have physical disabilities play games. So it has these two big buttons that you can remap in a bunch of different ways, and then, like I said, all these ports that you can add additional stuff on.
Yeah.
It's relatively affordable, and it uses the Xbox controller like programming matrix, so you can just use it for anything that uses an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
As a deaf gamer who uses hearing aids, captions, and visual cues to play video games, I always welcome and advocate for better accessibility in the industry. But as someone who runs an independent website about accessibility in the video game industry, I know that the FCC enacted the Communications and Video Accessibility Act back in 2010. As a result, video games and the consoles they're played on must meet the FCC's accessibility requirements. However, the video game industry has been exempted from this law for the past 8 years because the ESA has asked and been granted extension waivers, with their final waiver expiring at the end of the year because the FCC believes, quote, that little progress has been made with aspect to making the ACS functions in video games software accessible to persons with disabilities, unquote. So I tend to feel a little cynical about all this because I feel video games are making these improvements not because developers want to, but because they have to, and a deadline is approaching. On one end, some successful efforts have been made in accessibility throughout the last few years. On the other hand, not all gaming systems, services, and software are yet accessible to warranted standards, as well as that, quote, it appears that little progress has been made with respect to making the ACS functions of video game software accessible to persons with disabilities, unquote. With all this new information, what are your thoughts about the current state of accessibility in the video game industry? Sorry for the long email. Keep up doing the great work as always, and that's from Jesse. So
that was a really long email.
It was a very long email, indeed. I'm curious, just because of how it works, Jesse, with you being deaf, being able to listen to the podcast, because I don't. I mean, it's not.
Well, I mean, deaf doesn't necessarily mean like entirely can't hear. It could be
that's true.
Partial.
And also, I guess
when you blast the fucking, he's just listening to the bass of your voice.
I think that also what YouTube has that thing where it'll try to translate, but it's usually I figure for this podcast, there's not a lot of background noise, and we don't talk over each other too much. So maybe. Anyway, what do you think? You think that this, because when this was put out, it was essentially Microsoft had a very feel good video about it.
Yeah,
of
course they did.
Kind of seen as a very altruistic move, but in this respect, it seems a little bit more cynical that there's a statute that they have to get up to the standard of, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what happens if you don't, right? The FCC enacted the Communication and Video Accessibility Act. And as a result, video games and the consoles they're played on must meet the FCC's accessibility requirements. There's a lot of known unknowns in there.
I guess this email kind of answers its own question because clearly it's not good enough yet.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say that as somebody who worked back a long time ago, I worked at Microsoft, and we had an accessibility team that was, I believe it was a man who was sight impaired, and then a lady who was hearing impaired, I believe. And the two of them basically worked together for every build to test it, put it through the paces of because I don't know if you know this, but you can turn on in Windows a thing where Windows will basically speak aloud every icon that you're mousing over.
Yeah.
It'll just totally do speech for everything that's on there.
Yeah.
And I always thought that they were somewhat militant about it until I thought, no, I mean, if you don't put this stuff in, then people who have these disabilities can't use your thing. And personally, I fucking love video games. I think that anybody who wants to be able to play video games should totally be able to play video games. Yeah. So I think that I don't know, though, that pressuring a company like Sony, maybe, I don't know. They all have tech divisions, and it's one of those things where, but sometimes companies like Sony and Nintendo, I feel like it's going to be hard to put pressure on them to do that sort of thing, especially because it hasn't been a full-on requirement the entire time that video games have been around.
Yeah, but it's definitely something they should consider.
Absolutely.
I mean, fuck, Pornhub has a category for visually impaired
Yeah.
where it literally describes what's happening.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I thought it was funny. But it's just like, come on, if they can do accessible stuff, I don't see why a video game company can't put a little more priority towards it.
Especially considering the amount of goddamn money that these companies make. Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying that you have to like grind every single thing that you're doing to a halt, but like Sony built a church in the middle of a parking lot for their E3 fucking Last of Us thing,
like
right?
they can hire like a team to focus on that and like
something.
Yeah.
You want people to be able to play video games, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yes, I agree. Jesse, I agree. I think they should do I think they should do more. I think that everybody should be doing it. I think it's interesting though because by the fact that the Microsoft controller is able to interact with the Xbox API, which is fully integrated into Steam, it literally puts the Switch and the PlayStation as the odd man out because PC gaming, for the most part, has a lot of controller support in it. So not every single garbage-ass, dumb shit indie game, right? But most of the primaries you can play with a controller.
Yeah.
And so if you can play with the controller, then you can play it with the Microsoft accessibility controller. So if you had to start with one, that was the best one to start with because it gives you two of the biggest 4 platforms that are out there.
Yeah.
But absolutely more should be done. All right, let's see here. Let's try. We got 2 more real quick, and then we'll be done. RJ writes in and says, this one's just about Dark Souls, and I want to answer it.
Damn it, I fucking knew I was going to get Dark Souls. John, I bet Jeff's going to have a Dark Souls question.
I didn't make the questions. I don't make them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who picks them?
There were very few to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
RJ writes in and says, hello, Jeff and Rageful Amanda. See? So RJ knows what's up. I've got a short one this week, mainly for Jeff. I've fully thrown myself into Dark Souls, and I'm about to finish it. Finished up with special help from you guys' Patreon playthrough. So, Jeff, I've heard lots of mixed things about Dark Souls 2, and I was wondering what you would suggest for a beginner just finishing up Dark Souls 1, go straight to Dark Souls 2, or skip it and go to Dark Souls 3. Thanks as always, and that's from RJ, and this is a very short answer. Play Dark Souls 2. It's good. It's not nearly as shitty as people like to make it out to be. It is not as good as Dark Souls 1, but there is a difficulty spike that happens. And the way that you look at it, it's an upward curve that starts with Demon Souls and goes to Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, and then Dark Souls 3. So every one of those games is progressively harder than the game before it. So if you go from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 3, you're basically just ratcheting up a big chunk. It'd be easier for you to go to Dark Souls 2, get used to the difficulty in Dark Souls 2, and then when you go to Dark Souls 3, there's going to be another difficulty spike, but it's going to be less so than if you just go from 1 all the way up to 3. So, always remember, RJ, that magic is the easy mode for Dark Souls. So if you're having trouble,
Oh, no, that was words.
if you're having trouble, just use magic, and you'll be fine. Pyromancy or just straight magicians don't ever use miracles because they nerfed lightning, and I hate everyone and everything because of that. Right. Finally.
Yes.
Dark
Souls question.
Johan. Well, this is about fiction and stuff, but I feel like you read books and that you
I do.
might have an answer for this one. I don't know. I don't even think I have a full-on answer. Anyway, let's read the question.
Yeah.
Good day, Hair Jeff and Amanda. With no amount of positive adjectives could I even begin to describe. This is IT Johan from the site, but please call me Johan or Johan. I don't know. Johan. There is a concept out there which states that Earth has not been visited by aliens because we, as a world, scare them. The rapid changes in weather, unstable tectonic plates, and animal life are just a few examples of how violent and unforgiving our world is, and humanity as a race who conquered this planet baffle and scared aliens.
Ooh, fear us.
It's a concept which
We're all insecure bags of flesh.
It's a concept which I truly enjoy. It displays humanity as a force of nature and something never to be trifled with. I myself first discovered the concept in Animorphs, where the creatures from Earth dominated the wildlife of other planets with ease. Other cases though good but stupid, would be the end of War of the Worlds, and Signs, where Earth is the winner. Also, The Martian, for delving into the sheer will and ingenuity of man to survive in hostile environments. So, at long last, my question, have you encountered this concept? It's asking about me and the sci-fi books that I read. Any of the sci-fi books? If so, please tell me where so I can check it out. But please, Amanda, chime in as well. The more of this, the better. Kind regards from Johan. So,
I'm trying to think. Because that concept's not new.
Oh, certainly not.
But I can't think of a specific. I'm trying to think of like a movie or something that I saw where it's like just humans are fucked.
The
Doctor Who kind of likes it.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Who really likes the idea that like
man is the real monster.
Yeah, it turns out it was man. No, more just that we're like resilient as fuck, and no matter what happens, we kind of adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And that we just start fucking the galaxy when Earth gets destroyed. But I'm trying to think of something more.
You know what? I've always I do not really like the War of the Worlds remake, the Tom Cruise one.
Yeah, the Steven Spielberg one.
But I've always really, really, really loved. There's I think it's Morgan Freeman does a narration at the end when the aliens start dying.
Yeah.
When there's a concept that's expressed, and we all know the aliens die because of the diseases, right?
Yeah.
And I like it because of the way that they describe it, because the way it's told is that mankind, that we have bought our place in this world through the like trillions of us that have died to disease, to keep making us more resilient to disease, to getting past diseases, developing immunities, developing techniques to get past them, that it's not just that like, well, they've never met the common cold, but that we have paid the price over hundreds of years and trillions of dead for epidemics, that like fucking we paid for this shit. Like, we just come on this planet like, but I've always liked that as a concept because I feel like it takes human history and shows it as like a kind of like what he's talking about as like
it's like a Rocky montage.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Anyway, some of this, let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find my actually no, I just do it on my phone. So okay, I'm trying to think of, I do read a lot of science fiction. I'm trying to think of anyone where it's like people are afraid of humans. What the hell is that franchise called? There's one that's called god damn. Let's see if I can find. Is it called the first one was called Metal World. I've talked about this one before. Book. No, let's see. Can I find that? Is that B.V. Larson or is that Here, hold on. I'm going to try to look it up on my phone.
Yeah.
It's a franchise that is about humans in a universe that are. Let's see. Yeah, it is B.V. Larson. It's I forget what they call this one. So, Undying Mercenaries is the name of the franchise,
and
it's basically like humans are part of a universe that is actually ruled over by these super elite, these aliens that come from the core, right? And we're just like a backwater area. And when they came to conquer us, they look at what everybody has to offer. And for humans, they decided that they were fighters. So Earth tithes mercenaries to this civilization to go fight wars for them. But because every civilization in the galaxy basically puts in a different, kind of thing into this weird corporate structure. But the interesting thing about this particular franchise is that, and that's B.V. Larson, Larson, is that the main character and the Marines in this franchise have purchased these machines from the Galactics, was what they call them. They're like the higher up tiers, where everybody is, when you're implanted with a biocomputer that's also recording you all the time, recording your thoughts and uploading it. And if you die, they just basically print a new version of you. They just like flesh print a new you, and then all your memories are downloaded into it, and they dump you out. So instead of like fighting well, you just die like hundreds of times, and they just keep printing you and then putting you back on the battlefield and being like, get back out there, fucking like, oh, this one's good, put a uniform on it, here's a gun, get the fuck back out there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so they actually use that concept in a lot of ways, because this is like the 12th book in the series. So like the main character is kind of this just like super audacious redneck guy that just keeps managing to get one over on people by just lying and fucking cheating his way through the galaxy.
Yeah.
But like they have concepts in that book about like the commander's like, oh, you're alive but you're wounded. Okay, well, we need you back up on the ship, and then shoots the main character in the face because that's easier than paying to put them onto a transport and put them up to the ship. Is just upload them and print out a new copy of them. It's a really interesting book because death doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying,
I know how much ink costs, and I can't imagine a cloning printer would be any cheaper, you know?
Apparently they're like these big monster maws, like wombs that you just slot people
right
out on the floor.
You.
Yeah.
Gross. I Googled the science fiction where the humans are the monsters.
Yeah.
And Gears of War came up, which I thought you'd appreciate.
Yeah.
There's another one that I didn't know what the right way to articulate what he was looking for was, so I just thought humans as the monsters would be the best to look. But District 9 was a suggestion. Mm. I think that is kind of an interesting, because the second aliens from another planet came to invade, if I'm not mistaken. Weren't they here to invade? They were like, and they just got disconnected from like their mothership, and we just took them and put them in this like shack home.
Yeah.
It's just it's
a home with Shaquille O'Neal. It's a shack home.
It's a shack home. I think maybe District 9 would be a good example of that. But yeah, I like that they said.
I've also been reading a current one that I've been reading is called Crimson Worlds, and it's like this Space Marines.
Yeah.
And eventually it starts out with a lot of
always Space Marines.
It's I was really mad the other day because, you know, that when you buy the cheap Kindle, it like puts ads, and it keeps trying to add. It's like, Suzanne is just a normal succubus looking for love in New York City, but when the demon hunters from Connecticut come, what's she going to do? And I'm like, I don't care. Does she have a robot suit, and is she shooting stuff with lasers? I don't give a fuck.
Do you know how hard it is to be a woman who reads paranormal or horror books this day and age?
No.
Do you know how many girls who suck vampire dick books there are in this world?
Lots.
Yeah, too fucking many. Let me tell you right now. No, I don't want to read a sexy book. I want to read a horror novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to look for a horror book and be a girl at the same time, because apparently that means I want to read a romance novel and I want it to have fucking Edward in it.
Yep.
It's the worst.
Okay, I'll finish this up. Jay Allen, Jayallan, Crimson World series is about Space Marines. It eventually flips over to be, it starts with people fighting each other, and then eventually we get
aliens,
invasions, something else, right?
Subterranean mole people.
That is like, oh, these ain't humans. I keep trying to crush it. It's a really brutal book because
God's like, done.
Yeah. And then anything by Von Heppner. That's Heppner. But if I could make a suggestion, a lot of it would be Von Heppner has a lot of like plucky space dudes what are dealing with the fucking horror show. His latest series is called the AI Battle Fleet, and is basically about a bunch of sentient computers that were coming in to try to kill the lot of us or turn us into horrible, horrible cyborg machines, and like the people that are resisting them / each other, because there's always a thing. That's the latest. The Lost Starship isn't really about that, but like, Invaders, that's like a weird one.
Do you think Detroit Becoming Human is like that? Because most of the humans in that are dick bags.
I don't know. Wow, a lot of goddamn books.
One of those look like gay porn.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, that's on your read list now.
some of Von Hepner's stuff is probably up your alley. I don't know if I can think of one where it's just like marauding humans are the problem, right?
Well,
Where-
even just like aliens being like, we're going to invade this planet that's rich in minerals, and they come down and they're like, what are these things? Like, I wish there was a more specific,
like genre name.
yeah, an idea of what that is, or maybe there is, and I just don't know it. Because it seems, like a basic idea that's used a lot,
Yeah.
but it also is vague enough that I don't know if enough people have done it properly.
Yeah. I don't know.
Then you do like a full-on horror film only to find out that the aliens was us all along.
It was us. It was man.
Well, I mean, how easy is that, though? You think it's just a futuristic people traveling to a different planet,
Mm-hmm.
and they're being attacked by something, and it turns out it's just like a fucking bear on Earth, on modern day Earth, and shit like that.
Twilight Zone episode that is exactly that.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's this lady that's in a shack and she doesn't ever talk, and there's like these little robo men that are like trying to get into her shack, and she's like just grunting and hitting at them and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the very end, up on her roof is a tiny little spaceship that's got an American flag on the side, and it's like, this is Major John Johnson. We came to this planet, but it's filled with this giant people.
Yeah.
We tried to make contact, but and then
Yeah.
she's just like, and blows them up, and then they're all like, all right. Also, the Twilight Zone episode where they're doing all the doctor work on the lady, and then it's like, oh, she's still hideous.
And she's all pretty.
Yeah.
They all have pig faces.
You gotta go to the island of horror people and have bad sex with that also good looking dude who's
You
Anyway.
don't know if their sex is bad just because they're not good-looking people.
I don't know, those pig motherfuckers that probably have some noisy oinking.
Pigs in space.
Ugh. Anyway, that's our show for this week. Thanks everybody. Thanks Amanda for sticking around for so long.
Yes.
Mail@rachselect.com is the email address. Send us in all of your questions. Send us in all of your feedback. Let us know what you think. I always enjoy getting stuff from people. And we'll see you next week. I don't have sign-off.